It's not they're hitting 3 straight threes.
Yeah.
Melvin's not doing it. Trey White's your best 3-point shooter. I know KU fans might find that hilarious, but I was asking Bukaty, I go, who do you think the best 3-point shooter is on this team, percentage wise? It's Trey White by a fairly large margin. If Bryce is not aggressive, they're not shooting nor hitting threes. It's the same issues I think that's plagued this Kansas team all year long. That being said, they're still probably a Final Four upside team.
Yeah.
Even with those, I think, fairly large, glaring weaknesses.
I'd like to point out that during a weekend where all we've talked about is the court and the hardwood, Darren Peterson played 37 minutes against TCU. So props to him for doing that. But I want to hit on a point that you made, Sterling. I'm really worried about the play of the bigs because without Flory on the floor, they looked lost. Bryson has shown moments of greatness this year, but he has kind of reverted to that freshman that is still growing and he's not as confident. I also think that you didn't see a lot out of Melvin Council. He played 40 minutes. He was 3 of 12 from the floor. You got to get more out of him if you're not getting anything out of your bench. And Jamari McDowell was unplayable, like you said last night. And Elmarco Jackson did come in and knock down his free throws, which is great. Played good defense. We were talking about it during the break. He might be the worst decision maker that I've seen in quite some time. But overall, they grinded out a win. I don't know how much stock you can put into it when you play a Houston or you play an Iowa State or an Arizona. But if Darren Peterson continues to play 35-plus minutes, you got to expect that the bigs will play better. And Flory has been pretty good this year at avoiding foul trouble. Wasn't last night, but if he can stay on the court, I think this team is just different.
Yeah, I will say the total agreement on the early shot in the shot clock off the offensive rebound for Elmarco right in front of your bench, right in front of Bill Self. Like that seemed to be even like that decision on its own was like, is it working up there? Because Bill Self is right there. He's already talked about maybe some quote unquote selfish play that I believe was about you. And it's early in the shot clock, you're leading, and it was a contested shot, as Sterling said, because it was blocked. And Bill Self's right there. It'd be different if it was the other side of the court. It's the first half, and it's on the other side. It's like, well, I'm next to some fans.
It's a tie game.
Yeah, I'm going to heat check right here early on. But just all around, it seemed like an incredibly dumb decision.
He goes, you're not pulling me. You saw what McDowell was doing, right? I'm good. I got some free reign here.
Who are you going to take me out for, Mbia? Like, come on. Those guys ain't playing. Let's go. But that being said, while the decision-making is questionable at best, he's a decent defender, and I think Bill Self trusts him to hit his free throws.
Yeah.
I think he's made, 19 in a row, which means he'll miss his first one tonight, since we say that. But he'll step up in his free throws. And at least there's that you can trust to a degree while having a player that overall seems to be untrustworthy in times. Find an element that you can offer value to your team. And at least, because if Elmarco wasn't making free throws, I don't know who plays late in games.
No.
Because if he's not a guy stepping up and knocking down free throws, I'm not sure.
Rosario, maybe?
For deep.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be that guy. It could be him. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But he's just not ever getting into games.
Were you nervous at all, Michael, about some of the offensive rebounds that TCU was getting, at least to start the second half? They fixed it, and it didn't hurt them a ton because when they got the offensive rebound, TCU got stripped a couple times, once by, Darren Peterson, once by, I think Trey White knocked it out.
That was when Peterson missed the dunk.
Yeah. Are you nervous at all about maybe some of the, I don't know, lack of boxing? Because to start the second half, TCU got a lot of offensive rebounds, it felt like, and even some that maybe they should have had some more, honestly.
Well, I think that's what you're talking about, the concern of the bigs.
It is a little concerning, and it's always Bryson Tiller and Flory that they do fix it to an extent later on in the game, but it almost seems like a toughness factor that they don't show up with right away. And they didn't defend the three very well in the first half either. There were some wide open looks for TCU, and that's why this game was so close, at least in the first half.
Yeah. Now they get another game against Houston, which before last night was sort of the game in this stretch since the Arizona win that you could hang your hat on, because losing Iowa State and then beating Oklahoma State, okay, that's fine. Losing to Cincinnati, beating Houston, and then losing to Arizona State, beating Kansas State, like the one game in there that you go, okay, that was a good win. You played well. You beat a good team, was Houston. Until last night, that you beat a good team in TCU. Team was 9-1. They are a solid tournament team. That's a round of 32 team, TCU. That's a team that's, I'm going to guess that whoever they get matched up in the first round, whether they're a 7 seed, 6, whatever, 8, 9, I think that's a team that, yes, in the second round, a 2 seed, a 1 seed, or a 3 seed may be facing off against. And they took care of business on a neutral court. That's a good win. And now you get Houston, and Houston's playing some good basketball and maybe looking for a little bit of revenge with the loss at Allen Fieldhouse, in which was their 3-game losing streak, but they haven't lost since. And they really don't have a premier win to show for it since that 3-game losing streak and losing that game to Kansas, because it's Colorado, Baylor, Oklahoma State. And then the win against BYU last night it's a good win. That's a clear and obvious tournament team. So that would be the one. So really you've got a couple of teams coming off of wins that were good wins against good teams, but haven't really done much since they last met. Sort of the backdrop of tonight's game, which I find to be interesting about it, coming after that Arizona and Iowa State game, which should be just an absolute ton of fun.
That should be electric, man.
Should be a blast. Should be fun. Let's play this clip before we take a break and switch to football, since we've been talking a lot of college basketball. Let's hear from Dennis Gates. This was after the game yesterday afternoon. He was at the podium. I think it was the second to last question he was asked. But the question was, Dennis, can you give an elevator pitch for why your team deserves to be in the NCAA tournament?
Well, it's not an elevator pitch. It's just facts. We're in one of the best conferences in basketball. One of 36 teams with 5 quad 1 wins. We don't have a bad loss at all. There's no bad loss on our record, meaning quad 3s and I guess 4s. We have some great wins at home and on the road. We just lost to a top 25, 30 team in NAT or whatnot, but the NAT doesn't look at where our team is. The NAT doesn't say Trent Pierce was out and Jaden Stone was out. It doesn't say that. So we're a completely different team than whatever the NAT is talking about. That's why the committee doesn't focus on the NAT. Wins above bubble is there. Our style of play is there. I think we're a completely different team just because of the fact that we are a little bit more healthy. When you add Trent Pierce, our matrix is completely different than when you take them out, and the same with Jaden Stone. So what is that, the Torvik rating? I think we're 36 in that, 35, 36 in that. So ultimately they got the job to do. I'm not on a committee. Everything that's been published right now in media is not accurate information based off of inside that room. So they're educated guesses based off the history, and, I hope we have a shot, but we'll see. We'll see.
The point that he brings up, and we'll see how much it's taken into account in that room. The non-conference schedule was rough, just in general of who they played, and you lose the 3 better games. You went 1-3 against Power 4/5 opponents.
Was it Minnesota?
Minnesota was
and
the
you
one
lost
win.
to Notre Dame, KU, Illinois. And
Yes.
again, my thoughts. Notre Dame loss is brutal.
Yeah. But I wonder if in the room, if we're talking about Missouri in the tournament, if the selection committee will look at it and say, what's this team now? Because if we're talking about, well, do they take into account no JT Toppin with Texas Tech, and now Tech on a 3-game losing streak and getting beat pretty good by Iowa State, losing at BYU, losing at home to, was that Colorado? Or was it TCU? Losing at home last week on senior night. So it's like, okay, you don't have JT Toppin. They played well for 2 games without him, But now they've lost 3 straight, so do you take that into account? BYU without Richie Saunders, do you take that into account? And if you do, then how do you not take into account Jaden Stone and Trent Pierce not playing in the non-conference, and their first game back was Florida, and what Missouri has done with their full allotment of players that they go through, and they've won 10 games in the SEC.
10-9, basically, if you count the
and all of their quad 1 and quad 2 wins have essentially been with their full allotment of players. Not saying that they beat Kansas or Illinois. I think they probably beat Notre Dame on the road. But, I don't know if they'll take that into account. I don't know that they take it. Every committee is going to have different opinions than the one before.
And every team's going to have an argument somewhere.
Yes.
I mean, it's every team's going to have an argument.
Yes.
And what it comes down to is, did you do enough?
Yeah.
I think this Missouri team did enough just to sneak in.
Yeah.
Again, I think the non-con is just such a, and I hope that eventually Dennis Gates will change that. I get what he was trying to do. I just think it backfired this year. I think, again, I go back. If you beat Notre Dame, I think you are pretty firmly in. It just looks like a horrendous loss. But again, no Trent Pierce, no Stone. Those are 2 massive pieces for this team.
Yeah, I wish Missouri would pierce through some of these teams with some bigger stones to go out there in the first half and play well. And with that, we'll take a break because I don't know that was good or not.
That was a nice Burns you had.
Oh, man. Damn it. Mark Mitchell, that. And we'll take a timeout and we'll talk with Matt, Derek.
Oh, look,
see
an ant.
If he thinks, all right, that's a TO. All right, we need to take one right now. More Zone next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, Matt Derrick joining us here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast, talking some Chiefs football, some NFL football, some free agency, some agency on the Chiefs with other players. So let's talk about real quick. Matt, welcome to the show, buddy. How are you? Good to see you. Looking great.
I apologize that
For what?
I'm
This
here
is the plan. This was the plan.
at a different time than I normally am.
It's the plan all along. Let's talk about the news that came down last night. It's the most recent. It's the most fresh of the news. If you look at my top 15, and there's a lot of chicken scratch here because you're moving some guys around. We did our draft of 5 rounds, or what are we going to do? 3 rounds?
We did 5.
We did 5 rounds. Okay. We did 5 rounds of free agents with the 3 of us.
It may have gone up
on
to
Monday
6 or
morning.
7, but
it ended up going to 7.
But it was really
but
5.
we were supposed to do 5 rounds. So we had 5 rounds with 3 people. So we had to come up with at least 15 free agents that we would draft in a regular snake draft of who we thought the Chiefs would sign. Not who we wanted, but who we thought. We currently, we ended up going 7 rounds because all of us were like, well, I've got so many left that you guys took other guys that weren't on my list. We ended up going 7 rounds, so 21 players. We are currently 1 for 21. And that was the 3rd pick of the draft, Kenneth Walker, by Michael Darcy. I'm mad at myself because I chose Nick Cross as my last pick at safety instead of a guy who I have listed as my 11th free agent of Kader Kohu. Which is really annoying. My 17th free agent was Alohi Gilman, but I still chose Nick Cross at safety over Alohi Gilman. And the first pick of the draft was ETN, and I have Walker up high, but I thought, well, if running back's already gone, I'll go edge just for strategy here, and I'll go Boye Mafe edge, which left Kenneth Walker to Michael Darcy. So what I'm saying is, Matt, I kind of feel like I won. Like with 0 points, I kind of
like you won the World Series.
I kind of feel like I won with 0 points, even though Michael's the only one that got one specifically right. So I guess I'll just take the win.
I said it on the night shift the other night. I was actually going to go with Travis Etienne, but Sterling took him first overall.
Yeah.
So I would have been wrong.
Dang it.
I was going to go with Kenneth Walker first overall, and instead I went with my number 2 pick, even though number 1 pick was there, because I wanted to strategize. Strategery. Instead of going with my lockbox.
See, that's the thing. I mean, when did Sterling take ETN?
First pick overall.
Then I would have gone Kenneth Walker, number 2.
I know. That's what I said. Kenneth Walker was my number 1. I get
went
that.
ETN first.
Like I said,
Yeah,
I played the board wrong.
I think the strategery thing would have been going Walker, yeah.
Yes, but I should have been like, they're going to take a running back. He took ETN. I'll throw numbers at it and take Kenneth Walker since he's my number 1 anyway. But I was like, you know what? He went running back. I'll go edge. I'll go the top edge that I think they're going to sign.
You went edgy.
Yes. Yeah, Mafe was my number 2. Walker 1, Walker 1, ETN 2, Mafe 3 was how I ranked
to your board.
them.
That's the rule of the draft.
I reached, I panicked.
Yep.
And I got it wrong, but I kind of still feel like I won. Anyway, Kohu was a guy that we talked about
The
briefly.
fact that you wrote down Kader Kohu on your list of
Yes.
potential players is actually pretty impressive. So,
Well, the reason is, and I didn't know if they would do this or not, Matt, we've talked about it before, but I would like them to focus on maybe signing a actual slot corner. Someone that plays, the slot. Because they haven't had that since Trent McDuffie got moved to the outside. Noel Williams is an outside player. Christian Fulton's an outside player. Trent McDuffie wanted to play the outside, which meant Fulton or Noel Williams couldn't get on the field, especially with Jalen Watson, who was playing on the outside. So when those guys were healthy, there's just not a spot for them. So Christian Roland Wallace or Shamari Connor plays the slot. Does this indicate to you at all? And maybe the draft will do that if they take Avion Terrell or Keontae Scott that are viewed as 2 of the top slot corners in the draft, that Terrell could be in the top 20. But if he's there at 29 or 40 or something like that, Keontae Scott will be there at 40. Hell, he may be there at 74. I don't know. He's kind of sliding down the board a little bit. But we'll see. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Is this, do you think, changing strategy a little bit, or maybe just throwing numbers at players in signing a guy who I think would have been more coveted had he not missed all of last year with the ACL. He tore his ACL in training camp in July. was going to be the starting slot corner for the Miami Dolphins, and he had been that in 2024. He was starting, coming off the bench, whatever. But sometimes you start without a slot corner, sometimes so all of that stuff. But he was the primary guy. I think he would have been more expensive this go around because I think he's a good player. All that being said, Matt, does this indicate a change in Shamari Connor maybe going to safety because maybe the safety market didn't materialize like they thought, or safeties in the draft? What do you make of this particular signing?
I feel like it's numbers. I mean,
Okay.
it's if it hits, it's great. I mean, and it is a little bit, maybe less of numbers and more of a bet because you're buying low and hoping to hit.
Yeah.
Because Kohu, coming off the injury, like you mentioned, I mean, that's the big factor. You don't know what he's going to be like. You don't know. I mean, and
It'll
we'll
be 14
see.
months post-surgery for him. But always the first year after the ACL, we're always talking
There's
about.
that,
Yeah.
and it's hey, when's he going to be available? Is he going to be available for any of OTAs? I mean, remember you got
his agents. Real quick, sorry, Matt, I keep interrupting.
No,
I
you're good.
apologize. I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to go take a break. His agents, I'm using air quotes, said he's fully cleared. All team activities, all workouts, he is as if he was at training camp last year before the ACL. From the agents. Sorry, proceed. Turn my mic off.
Oh no! Don't turn your mic off. I mean, you don't know when you got nuggets of wisdom here,
Right.
But you don't know for certain if he's going to be available for OTAs. Remember last year you thought Christian Fulton was going to be available for OTAs. Then he basically was not because he had to have a cleanup procedure. Missed all of OTAs, and then honestly looked a little out of it until second half of the season. So. That the same thing could be the case with Kohu. I mean, if he comes in and he looks like he did in 2024, great. You've got a player here, and then you do have numbers, and maybe it is that you have somebody who's your first option, and now Connor and Chris Rowland-Wallace can be rotational pieces and be guys that you move around a little bit. I mean, especially because Connor's probably going to be a starter, I still assume. I mean, he'd be the front runner for sure because Jaden Hicks, unless he makes a leap and shows the coaches that he's a little bit different player, Gilman is going to be a starter for sure. I mean, he's going to be your free safety, it looks like. So, you need somebody to be the strong safety. Right now, I'd say Connor is your first bet right there, although I think Jaden Hicks is still a more talented player. It's just we need to see what happens. But, Kohu, yeah. I mean, I think in the perfect world, he is healthy, and that is your slot corner.
Mike brought this up, or Michael, however he wants to be addressed. Michael Darcia brought this up a couple of days ago when we were talking about Alohi Gilman and then discussing, Jaden Hicks and Shamari Connor, and that it felt like Spags was saying a number of times, and Dave Merritt about Jaden Hicks making some mistakes as a sophomore that they didn't expect. And he pointed out and said, well, they did go out and specifically bring back a safeties coach. That they had a safety, since Spags took over, they had a specific safeties coach almost every year. 2022, 22, 23, 24, they had a safeties coach. 2025, they did not. They just threw that onto Dave Merritt's plate. And now they brought in Andre Curtis, a specific safeties coach. Is there a causation thing with that as to how the safeties played? An overall secondary turnover that maybe you don't want to have a combined responsibility for Merritt? You want to split that up?
Yeah, that's a distinct possibility, and and I hadn't thought about that in those terms. I had thought about it in the whole. The Chiefs have had generally a veteran group the last couple of seasons, so you maybe haven't had to have that specific help and everything. And obviously, Spags works a lot with the corners. I mean, of the individual groups and everything like that, he works more with corners and defensive backs than any other group. So you have that advantage, but. Yeah, I mean, I thought when I saw they were bringing in a safeties coach to work with Merritt, and all of a sudden it was like, okay, wait a minute, they know that they're going to have to rebuild the secondary. They know that they're going to have a lot of new faces. They're probably going to have some rookies. They're going to have some free agents coming in here. So that was a big part of the equation to me, and it certainly could be the fact that, hey, they want somebody in here to work with these young guys because. They've expressed their disappointment in Hicks to this point. I still think that there's a lot of room for growth for guys like Jamari Connor. They seem to be thinking that Chris Rowland-Wallace is a Connor kind of guy. And again, he's still raw and undeveloped as a kind of a safety nickel kind of guy. Yeah. So I could see that they're going to have a lot of players on this year's team that are going to be more focused in development and growth this year than they have in the past few seasons.
And they have a little bit of continuity with losing Rod Wilson because they're moving Matt House into that spot. And Matt House has been with the Chiefs the last couple of years as a senior defensive assistant. So he just slides into that particular spot. Totally fine. So there's still that continuity to go along with it. But Rod Wilson had been with the Chiefs the last couple of years. But they had a safeties coach in Donald D'Alicio for a number of years, and then he moves on. They don't replace him specifically, and now they do. So I think that is of interest with that. But it is going to be – it's way more of a new-look secondary than I thought it would be. Because I really believed, Matt, that I thought the last – of the three, if it was, I guess it would have been four options, all three return, one of the two returns, or one of the three returns, two of the three returns, or nobody returns. If I ranked those, it would be nobody. None of the three players of McDuffie, Watson, and Cook return next year. That would have been my last in ranking them. And that's what we are. So it is more of a turnover than I expected it would be. Are they looking at different skill sets? Is it the price that they just wanted to go a little bit more value in the cornerbacks and Alohi Gilman? Or is it the skill set that Alohi Gilman's different than Brian Cook, and that's more of what they would covet if they had their druthers as to which type of safety to bring in?
Yeah, that's a really good question because I thought of all three of them, I thought the most likely to be back was Cook, and because certainly the Chiefs, their actions had matched their words as being that's a guy that they want back. I always thought Jalen Watson was probably going to end up getting more money than they were willing to commit to him, and that's exactly what happened. And obviously, trading Trent McDuffie was the thing that made the most sense. So to me, the idea that Cook was going to be back, especially because you would like to have that continuity, is great. But then when you factor in, what Cook was going to get with the age, with the injury history, that made it more difficult. And and credit to Brett Veach and his staff that they're looking out there and saying, okay, wait a minute, there's Gilman's out there, and he's going to make less money than Cook, and he's younger and healthier. And he really is truly a free safety, which they've, that's been a bothersome thing with them, that they know they haven't had a true, free safety for a couple of years. That made a lot of sense. So, it's an underrated move, I think, of their free agent moves that, replacing, because you could look at it, and I say this as a big a fan of Brian Cook as anybody, that even might be just a slight upgrade.
Yeah, that's what my next question is. I'm not saying it's an apples to apples comparison, but Spags took over and they went and got Tyrann Mathieu. Tyrann Mathieu had sort of run its course. They went and got Justin Reed. Justin Reed left, and they said, we're good with the guys we have. Brian Cook leaves, and I feel this is more Tyrann Mathieu, Justin Reed type player in Alohi Gilman rather than a Jaden Hicks, Shamari Connor, Brian Cook type player. Is that what you see in Alohi Gilman? Not that he's going to be Reed or Tyrann Mathieu, but it's sort of that overall leader of the defense, incredibly smart, versatile, attack the run, but be that Reed or Tyrann rather than Brian Cook.
Yeah, and that's interesting because, one of the things that the Chiefs have liked about Brian Cook, they talked about since he got there, is that has leadership qualities and everything, and he's forceful on the field, all of those things. I think it comes down to, I don't know that from a leadership standpoint that it was that necessarily Gilman's a huge upgrade of any sort. If anything, it might be just kind of a lateral move. But again, hey, it was asked of him yesterday in the press conference with Gilman. He's gonna be the old head in that room. He's gonna be the unk in that room now.
At 27.
And maybe when you think about it from that standpoint, not just a leader on the field, but in the locker room and in the practice field, all of these things, is Gilman more of an upgrade in those areas than Brian Cook? Like I said, I still think it's probably a lateral move, but he, at least at first glance, seems to be a guy that fits into that role well. And if you're going to have a guy that's like I said, the unk in that D-back room, Gilman looks like a good choice.
So defense in total, they lost way more than three starters from 21 to 22, but just secondary specifically, they lost Tyrann Mathieu, Javarius Ward, and then the other guy who I think people just were done with at that point, but was Dan Sorensen.
Yeah.
So they lost 3 guys, and I don't know if we thought at that point that they were going to lose, let's just say even Ward and Matthew, because in that went into because Thornhill was both, but then Thornhill became the starter really in making sure he usurped Dan Sorensen. But then Legarius really took over. Then Jalen Watson was the guy that really took it. That was him and Josh Williams, and then McDuffie. But they did have that massive change in the secondary. I mean, that was a complete overhaul.
Can we throw one half of a player in there because they traded Fenton that season?
Halfway through, too, as well.
Halfway through because they saw what they had. So there was a lot of that second half of that season. It was almost a brand new secondary.
So saying this has never been done before, it really is pretty much very similar 21 to 22.
They had a lot of draft picks that they threw some numbers at it, too.
Yeah, and and to me, it's not that it's entirely uncommon, but again, this is where it's going to affect Spags. He's talked about the last couple of years how important the continuity of that defense has been. Well, now you're going to have a lot of turnover. You're going to have a lot of people who have not worked in a Spags defense before.
Forced turnovers, hopefully.
There you go. Nice. You're hoping for that.
Great.
But you've got a bunch of guys there that have not played in the Spags defense. They're going to have to pick it up. Now, and you don't have anybody in the backfield on the field to teach them. I mean, it's Christian Fulton and Noel Williams have not been. I mean, Connor. Yeah. I mean, we were talking about that before. After Cook signed away and Gilman, I mean, there was a brief period where you're like, okay, well, wait a minute. Is Chamari Connor the leader of this secondary? Or are you going to have to bring back, Deion Bush on the practice squad so that you've got a old guy out there, an old head? That I'm throwing out all the terms now.
I like
today.
it. Unk, old head.
Everything from the locker
long
room
in the
today.
tooth.
Yeah.
Less green.
I was like, yeah, you bring back Deion Bush just so you got a continuity back there that can teach the guys Spags' defense. Hey, and having, like you said, having a second coach in the secondary is going to help. But we don't know. You don't know how it's going to affect it. I mean, you saw it last year with Christian Fulton. You don't know how somebody's going to take to Spags' defense. Maybe one of these guys, maybe Gilman, whomever it may be, somebody, and there's probably going to. I mean, there's going to be more.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether it's free agents or it's
they'll have a draft pick or two.
I mean, I've theorized the fact that you might be getting Fab Five Part 2 because they might end up needing to take 4 or 5 defensive backs in this draft.
They might do that. This may be a longer answer, but I'll say quickly. Is this an admission of if they had to do it over again last offseason, they would have paid Justin Reed and maybe not Christian Fulton? Or looking ahead, they wanted to get younger, and year 2 of what a 3-year contract for Justin Reed would have been, which is this year, they would have needed to recycle that out anyway. So maybe they had to stop a year early, then sign a contract and have him on the team too long as an aging player.
Even though they got a really good return, I think if they had to do it all over again, I think the thing that you would do is you would trade McDuffie last year. Yeah. And start rebuilding that secondary. I mean, they knew that they started to rebuild it last year. I mean, signing Christian Fulton was with the idea that, hey, you're not going to have Watson. You may not have McDuffie either in 2026. So you got to start, getting – I mean, Christian Fulton was there mostly to make sure that they had somebody for 26 that was going to be a veteran there in the secondary.
Jalen Moore was kind of the same thought process, I think, on the offensive line.
Yeah, no.
I think Fulton and Moore was more. That's why there were 2-year deals. They were a lot of money for an insurance policy, but that's what insurance is. You ain't getting that for free.
Yeah, Jalen Moore can play left tackle this year, but if we get a left tackle, 2-year deal, we're going to move on from Jawan Taylor, so now he's our right tackle next year. And they traded up for Noel Williams. I mean, they identified Noel Williams in the 3rd round and traded the Joe Tooney pick and their pick to go get Noel Williams. So they traded their 3rd rounder and Joe Tooney for Noel Williams. We'll see if ultimately it's worth it. But so far, once he actually was required to play, he looked pretty good when he was out there. We are required to take a break. We'll do that right now. We'll come back. More Zone next. All right, a little quickie segment here before we get into a more extended segment with Matt Derrick, because went a little bit longer in that 11 o'clock hour. As Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest 41 is the mic hanging out with us here. We'll talk about Emery DeMarcado or Amari DeMarcado. We'll learn how to say his name, or
No guarantee.
or we'll spend 4 or 5 years like Mike Dana, and he'll leave, and we go, was it Dana or Dana? I'm not sure. Or we could have a Travis Kels conversation, or a Travis Etienne, Travis Achan conversation.
Still not sure after 4 years we figured out how to spell Isaiah Pacheco's first name. So.
Dude,
ISIAH.
That's not how it was spelled when he was coming out for the draft. So
Am I
it was
correct?
ISAIH. I thought the A was first after the S.
it was right now. Well, right now it is IA.
I was correct,
Yes,
right?
you are correct.
I know
But when
ball.
it was coming out, it was AI.
Yeah, right.
That's Allen Iverson.
It's Andre Iguodala. Thank you.
There you go.
Come on, live in the now.
I'm taking
dude.
Iguodala.
Live in the now, dude. But now we know it's Travis Achan. I thought it was Devon Achan. We called him like Devin Achan. And then he's like, now it's Devon Achan. Travis Etienne goes to New Orleans in his press conference this morning, says, well, actually, people have been mispronouncing my name my entire career. I got to Clemson, and they just started calling me Etienne, and I had to keep correcting them. And they said Etienne, I keep correcting them, so I just stopped. But my last name is pronounced Achan. Like, I thought he was joking, but he's serious. This whole time, it's Trevor and Travis Achan, not Etienne. Is it Dana or you know what? It's Achan. It's been Michael Achan the whole time. Travis Kchan.
This is all my fault. I blame myself.
Devon Achan, Travis Achan,
Matt Dare Chan.
Kenneth Walker Chan. Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike Podcast. Hanging out with us, we'll talk with Mick Schaefer. The show today, the Big 12 making the announcement, they are switching courts. No more glass. They're going to the wood. So the final 3 games of the Big 12 tournament will be played on your just old school hardwood basketball floor. So there we go. Amari DeMarcado, Achan, however you pronounce it. What do you think of the signing there for the Chiefs in signing this running back?
Excuse me, pardon me. Feels like a pretty good set, as far as, if he and Kenneth Walker were your top 2 running backs, I think you'd be okay with that. Mercado's got a great reputation as a third down back coming from Arizona. Jonathan Gannon, before when he wasn't punching him in the arm, was praising his pass blocking.
Yeah.
He's, limited work, small sample size and all, but he's averaged 6.5 yards a carry.
I was going to say, do you know his yards per carry?
It's 70 on one play and limited carries helps.
He has
72 before he dropped the ball.
Sorry.
He has 126 career carries, 126, but 6.5. I will take that over 126 for career 3.9 yards per carry.
Yeah.
Give me the 126 for 6.5.
Yeah, I will. I'll certainly take that.
Will you acquiesce and say it's better than the opposite?
I will do that. And I think also, Matt, he'll offer some kick return too, because he did that with the Cardinals a little bit. So
add him to the mix.
Add him to the mix of guys that can return kicks. Brashard Smith, DeMarcado, things like that.
Just not even mentioning Nico. Poor Nico.
Sorry, Nico. And he got married too. So
exactly.
Congratulations to Nico. The surprise though was Rachaad White. 1 year, $2 million for Rachaad White. The Chiefs weren't in on that. Like I was, maybe they were, and maybe he just chose elsewhere. But I thought that was going to be considerably more expensive for him, and the market clearly didn't materialize for him. But I thought that was maybe the biggest surprise of free agency is that contract for him. And I want to go and try to find the numbers for that deal. I know it's a 1-year deal.
Yeah, you never know. And once again, like you mentioned, maybe the Chiefs were interested, but once they signed Walker, he was not interested. Maybe the Chiefs, once they got Walker, weren't interested because at that point, the knock on Walker is that he's not much of a pass blocker, and therefore you would want somebody who's more of a specialized third down back, and Mercado's got some Jerick McKinnon qualities in him, so maybe not Jerick McKinnon exactly, doesn't have necessarily the speed of McKinnon, but he's in that kind of ilk. He's a little guy that can stick his nose in there and be physical and get some things done, and like we said, as long as he's not dropping the ball before he goes into the end zone, he's been a really good player.
1 year, $2 million. Just wanted to make sure I was right about that. 1 year, $2 million for Rachaad White. That's really surprising. And hell, I'd have given him 3. 1 year, $3 million, whatever they're paying DeMarcado. But that is certainly a change in that running back room. And, Brett Veach doing Brett Veach things when he makes those particular moves. Is Kenneth Walker a 3-down back on this team for you? Was he underutilized, or it was a committee and you've got Charbonnet that does certain things better than Kenneth Walker, so we'll play him third down, receiving back? Not that Walker has an inability, but we have these 2 backs. We drafted him to be a committee. Why not maximize the 2 of their strengths together? Now with the Chiefs, nobody like a Charbonnet blocking him. Is Kenneth Walker a 3-down back for this team?
I think more so than he was in Seattle, I think for sure. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be out there for, especially if Mercado is a guy that makes the team as your, like I said, either your second or third back. He does pair nicely with Walker, but that doesn't mean he's going to be, I think he would be out there for everyone. The one thing I think you have to be tempted to do, especially in year 1, is overuse Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
Especially after when you add in the postseason run too. They had to lean on him a lot. So you look at his regular season carries and touches, and that's one thing. But then you throw in the postseason, and his year looks a little bit heavier. So I think, and once again, I'm with football players in certain positions for sure. A little bit like I am with pitchers and innings and pitch counts. You're not going to take a guy that was a reliever and threw 50 innings and then move him into the rotation and have him go 190. That's not how it works. It's not good science. So I kind of feel the same way with running backs a little bit in this case. I mean, you're not going to take a guy and just bump up his carries and touches and plays even, but, carries in particular, not going to just bump it up 50%. So I could see them backing off him a little bit. Maybe it's, if they end up with another running back, maybe if they bring back Kareem, I mean, maybe you've got somebody that you just rotate in and give him a drive on occasion. That's been kind of a way the Chiefs have done things too with their backup running backs. But I mean, I think he's going to play more than he did in Seattle for sure.
He had 326 touches last year, including the playoffs. That's
a decent number.
It's 55 more than his previous high, which was his rookie year. He had 199 the year before. So in 2024, he had 199 touches. Now only played 11 games because of the injury, but 326 this last year. So I mean, that's 525. So out of the last 2 years, it's not terrible.
No, it's not terrible.
I mean, it's not the worst thing to view. I mean, 262 essentially for the last couple of years. If you average out those touches, it just happens to be coming off one in which he had 326, and he was the main guy in Seattle when Charbonnet went down. I would guess, Matt, would he be closer to the 240 touch player in 2023 or the 320 touch player in 2025 for the Chiefs?
I mean, I think you're hoping he's closer to the 320 touch guy because
I would say for the money, I'd like him to be that guy.
And once again, I mean, the money. And I had this argument with Seren the other day, and I'm happy to continue it because the only reason that you're paying this much for a running back, it's to win a Super Bowl. I mean, that's the bottom line. So, hey, if he's got 326 touches this season, it's because the Chiefs are playing the Super Bowl. It's not because they, went 6-11 and didn't make the playoffs. So that's not the workload he's going to get during the regular season. I don't even think it's what the number he'd get to if they just made it to the divisional round or the AFC Championship game. You tell me right now that Kenneth Walker has 326 touches carries next year, I'll be like, okay, he made it to the Super Bowl.
Where do you see the 326?
That's regular and postseason.
Okay.
He had 74 touches.
Yeah, that makes way more. Sorry,
Right,
I was like 221 plus 31 receptions. I'm like, why?
No,
I know I'm not a math guy, but
no, he had 74 touches in the postseason.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Yeah, and if you look at Kareem Hunt and Pacheco, they had 308 or 318 combined
carries or touches?
Touches total.
Nice.
318 touches and that's without a postseason.
And without Brashard Smith, the
right,
smattering of
just those two.
Yeah.
That you would think are sort of your combined first running back to a degree, because there were some games where Kareem had to be the starter, and then games that Pacheco was the starter. Kareem receiving the ball, and that's where I get into if Kenneth Walker is a 3-down back, he would be closer to what the combination of Pacheco and Kareem Hunt were, because those guys feel like they were splitting those particular carries and touches. And then late in the season, it was Brashard Smith. So it's almost like a one fewer game for those guys in the regular season versus Kenneth Walker. Overall plus postseason is what he had, because he was a part of that committee for the first 17 games, 17 weeks of the season.
Yeah, and the other thing, I mean, almost a bigger question for me with Walker and just how much his usage is going to be, maybe just how much he develops as a pass catcher, because, I mean, the Seahawks threw him the ball a little bit, but he was almost exclusively, for the most part, either a screen guy or a dump-off guy. I mean, his depth of target was generally the line of scrimmage. I mean, you look at his yards after catch, and they're almost identical to his yards per catch, because they generally caught the ball around the line of scrimmage. And the Chiefs, yes, they've got plenty of dump-offs and screens in their offense, but they also want their running backs to run some routes every once in a while.
I think some of the receiving part of Kenneth Walker, broadcasters can oftentimes create a narrative in the middle of a game. And if Greg Olson, who I think is maybe the best color commentator out there, if Greg Olson had viewed the hold that was a hold on Juju Smith-Schuster and said, that's a hold. Doesn't matter what time of the game, that's a hold. You see Juju on this route right here, he wins. And the reason Bradbury has to hold him is because he knows he's beat. That's an easy completion. That's a hold, and well done, and the refs had to call it there instead of that shouldn't be called right there. It creates a narrative of, okay, the Chiefs got away with one. Troy Aikman and Joe Buck in the divisional round against the Texans. I mean, it's just such a protected quarterback as Patrick Mahomes. Oh, I mean, how do you call that there? Well, he made contact with the face mask. That they brought on the rules official. Like, well, that's a penalty, okay? I think the dropped pass in the Super Bowl was talked about around it as like, well, that's why they had Charbonnet, and this is why this guy was a split. He's got an 83% catch percentage in his career. He's had 161 targets. He's caught 133 of them. Like, he caught the ball at Michigan State. But if we look and go, well, Charbonnet had to play third downs, and he was the receiving back, and look at that drop right through his hands in the Super Bowl, and then they focused on it, it looks like, wow, this guy's kind of a butcher when the ball's thrown to him. It's like a 50-50 proposition. But he hasn't been that. But the route running part of it, too, as opposed to getting the ball thrown to him at the line of scrimmage, I think is an interesting aspect of that. And I don't know how good in the screen game he is, whereas Jerick McKinnon was brilliant at times in the screen game. And, Damian Williams, and they had those home run hitters at that time, and this is the first one since then. But I don't think he's, got frying pans for hands or anything.
That'd be shocking if he did.
That would be crazy.
9.1 yards per reception last year. So it's it's not like sometimes Austin Eckler would have like, what would it be, like 90 receptions for 400 yards.
Yeah.
Where he's just getting 2 yards a pop, 3 yards a pop. No, this is 9.1 yards reception.
And he had 12 in the playoffs. 12 yards per reception in the playoffs. So, and by the way, he was 11 targets, 9 receptions. One of his 2 drops happened there on the big stage. That was then highlighted by the broadcast.
And his only playoff drop, he's only had 8 drops in the regular season in his career. So he averages 2 drops a season. That's not a ton. But then again, you say the 9.1 yards per catch. He averages 9.3 after the catch in his career, because his average depth of target is minus 1.6 yards in his career.
So a lot of swing passes
to
him. Out of the back.
Everything he catches is behind the line of scrimmage. Yeah,
you better catch it because it might be a fumble if you don't.
Could be.
That's a good point. That's a really interesting point. Visiting with Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. Travis Kelce returning. I played this clip yesterday. Can we find this? I meant to carry it over from yesterday, but you know the one. It's a 2-second clip.
You know what's funny? There's certain songs, as we're waiting for me to do that. When someone says, you know the one,
you know the one.
All I think about is Prince.
Yeah.
Know anything about Prince?
Yeah.
Let's Go Crazy.
No?
You found it, Michael?
Okay,
great.
okay.
Sorry, I was looking at Michael to see. I don't know what you said. We're talking
No
about
one does.
royalty.
Three people do.
We're talking about royalty here. Kings, queens.
Let's Go Crazy
princes,
by Prince. And it's,
princesses.
You know the
Okay.
one.
Yeah, Let's Go Crazy.
I don't know if Prince is the guy.
Go crazy,
'Cause
folks.
He's got so many great songs.
Go crazy.
You say the one by Prince, I go Raspberry Beret.
Yeah. Yep. So Travis Kelce yesterday on the podcast. This is 2 seconds. I don't know if you've heard this, Matt, but it's 2 seconds. I'll set it up in that he was asked by Jason Kelce, get into your decision. Did the Kenneth Walker thing, even though Jason Kelce knows that he had already made the decision before Kenneth Walker was on. But Kenneth Walker, some of the other moves, does that play a role or an influence? And he started off and he was talking about how, all of the different things that went into it. And he said, I have no doubt that Patrick was going to be a dog in his rehab, and
my new coach Reed was going to make adjustments.
Brett Veach was going to do what he had to do. That's a quick little drop in, Matt. And that really stood out to me like everybody heard I can't wait to see Eric Bieniemy back in the back at the facilities. And it was like, oh, wait, that clearly was a Freudian slip because he had already decided he was going to return at that point with all the news that's come out now with Pat McAfee and with the.
So he says, yes.
So he says that I had made that decision pretty early. Don't know if that's true or not. But what do you make of, I knew Pat was going to attack the rehab. I knew Andy Reid was going to make adjustments. What do you make of that little 2-second clip?
The 2-second clip in particular, I will say, I mean, it's hopeful,
Yeah,
I think,
right.
more than anything else. I mean, because I thought that the Chiefs needed to make a lot more adjustments last year than they did.
Mm-hmm.
And that looked a lot like the same team that got its butt kicked by the Eagles. And I thought after that Eagles game, it's like, okay, this team needs to reinvent itself because it's running the same old things that it's been running for the last few seasons. Teams have caught up. And now that the Eagles and Vic Fangio have just put a blueprint out there on how to stop you, you got to reinvent yourself again, like this team has done before.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done it from season to season before. It's just that they hadn't done it the last couple of years because they've been pretty comfortable with what they were doing. And maybe a little bit because of the turnover and injuries that they've had the last few years and maybe just lack of confidence that they had in some of their position groups and everything. But they didn't make those adjustments at all last year. So, I mean, you need to. But again, I got into the second part of it, which is that even in the little bit of the stuff talking with Jason and talking with McAfee, Travis's story keeps changing. There's nothing consistent in the story about when he, chose to.
Yeah.
So you chose that you already decided you were going to return before Mahomes got hurt, but the fact that he's going to attack his rehab is a big part of why you're coming back.
Well, he was saying it's not because of
and
that.
EB, it's not all that and everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I tell you, I mean, I saw you looking at that dude, and I need to go back and look at which game it was, because it was. Which one? It
After
was a
Mahomes?
primetime game at home. So it was probably was that after
Texans?
the Chargers loss? Was that the Chargers?
Chargers
primetime?
loss was Mahomes.
It was Mahomes. Yeah, it was definitely Mahomes' game.
Okay, but the Mahomes injury. So it was a game in which
Yeah.
Mahomes was playing. The week before seemed like the most
Because that was the Texans. Was that
disappointing.
primetime too? I can't remember.
Texans was a primetime game.
Might have been the Texans. Yeah, it was definitely the Texans game because Chargers was at noon. It was after the Texans game, and I mean, that dude just, I mean, that was the game after which he just sat at his locker, and we come in and we're like 15 minutes after the game, and Travis was still. So I don't know how long he was, sitting there the entire time, before we walked in, but the entire time that we were in the locker room, almost the entire time, because it was only near the very end of the open session that he finally got up and started changing and everything. He just sat there staring into space, and just, I mean, that was the moment that I thought, okay, this dude had decided this was his last season, and now he's realizing that his last season is not going the way he wants it to, and it's like you could just see, it's like, am I really going out this way? So I don't know. I mean, once again, I mean, it's depending on your own point of view. If he decided at if he wants to tell me he decided mid-season that he was still coming back, and you wanted to define mid-season as what, week 14 against the Texans, okay, I'll give it to you, because that was the game that something had to be made. I mean, if he made a decision, it was then that he's like, okay, I'm not going out this way. I'm coming back next year.
Yeah, and he had talked about that at the end of the year, he and Mahomes and Chris Jones were like, how do we make sure that this doesn't happen next year? But then still saying, even though I felt that way, I still had to get away, let the emotions leave, my body recover, so I can know that I'm making the right decision. Essentially, I've already made the decision, but I got to make sure that I'm making the right one. My question to you, though, Matt, in hearing that, it's saying, hey, what are the reasons you returned? Well, it didn't have anything to do with this or this. I knew that Patrick was going to attack the rehab. I knew that Andy was going to make adjustments. Do you think, and I wonder this, do you think Kelsey got, or was wanting some sort of assurance that there was going to be adjustments made? Because it didn't look like life was a whole lot of fun for him the last 2 years and how the offense was run. And it's not what they thought the offense was going to be with Hollywood and Rashee Rice, everybody got to eat, and Xavier Worthy, and all this space for Travis to roam. He didn't have space. Everything was sucked down in. It was all truncated. It was no space to move around. It was like you're trying to run routes in an elevator. It looked difficult for Travis, and he didn't have the athleticism, the burst that he had before while setting up a defender and then breaking out and being faster. He doesn't have that anymore. So I think he does need a little more space. So I wonder, Matt, it's like, I've decided to return. But what's that going to look like, man? Because I want to make sure that I'm not returning to do the same thing we've done the last couple of years on offense and have to battle and grind through that. What are we going to do to improve this stuff? And maybe that's when Andy was like, we're doing this, this, and this. And he said, I had no doubt that he was going to be making adjustments, but I kind of wanted to know. Is there any it's speculation, but anything to that might have been the case? That Travis like, I want to return, but it ain't going to be like the offense we've been running the last 2 years. I can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. And, and here's the thing, and I circle back to the Kenneth Walker thing, too. The Chiefs, when they line up in week 1, right now, I mean, would you expect them to have any less than 9 offensive starters returning? I mean, maybe the only other position other than running back will be, I don't think you're going to have a third receiver back. I mean, Hollywood, if you want to say he was a starter, which I think he would be considered a starter in week 1 last year, or at least the majority of the season. He was your starting wide receiver.
Right tackle,
he's the only
third
one that's
wide
not going to be
receiver?
back. Everybody else is going to be back.
Right tackle, third wide receiver?
Yeah, I guess right tackle you too. I mean, Jalen Moore, played a little bit there.
But if you're talking about
and he was a starter a lot of the season still.
But without suspension, so week 1 to week 1, 25 to 26, it would just be third wide receiver and
running
Pacheco
back.
and running back.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. I mean, you're basically, in counting.
Excuse me, right tackle.
And see, I'm even
because
including.
it was Juwan
yeah,
Taylor.
and I'm not even talking like week 1 to week 1. I'm more like talking like season to week 1.
No, that makes sense.
And Moore started a lot last year, so you had that. To me, it's like, okay, you're saying that, I mean, that running back spot was the majority of your problems. And let's face it, it was.
Yeah.
Because as Andy Reid said, no one respected their run game last year. And that probably affected Travis more than anybody else. Because he was still getting the double teams. He was still getting a lot of attention. I mean, he was still getting played, and teams were able to play him much more physical than they had even in the past, because they could hit him and chip him in a lot of different ways. Because, they were facing a lot of light boxes, so there was an extra player. And, and talking with somebody the other day, we were talking about the fact that that even affected just how many interceptions, tipped passes, any of these things that the Chiefs have by like linebackers and defensive ends dropping down because they had no respect for the run game.
It's a great point. Like the annoyance of Mahomes' ball being tipped in the air and somebody there, because it felt like everybody was in the same space, as opposed to like when the Chiefs were on defense, the ball's tipped in the air and then it pans over to that area and it falls incomplete. Somebody's like, oh, he's like 4 steps away. It was so close. It's like,
it's a good call.
Yeah, because everything was indicted was in a small kiddie pool that they were playing football in, and it felt like they were running in the kiddie pool at times. Like from 2019 to last year, the Chiefs' skill position group wide receivers have gotten 10 pounds lighter and 1.8 miles per hour slower in Andy Reid's offense. And they went and got Xavier Worthy. Like, they got lighter and slower at the same time. That's hard to do, but that's the reality of the guys they were bringing in and choosing to invest their money and playing time in.
Well, but it also makes sense when you've got Rashee Rice, who almost all of his metrics, advanced metrics, were all like off by like 20%. His separation was 20% down. His speed was 20% down. I mean, that was just the nature of that knee injury. Now, what you're hoping is that he's back to 23, 24 Rashee Rice.
Yeah.
Separation and speed.
Because if you're getting mile per hour with Tyreek, McCole, Sammy Watkins, as opposed to Worthy, Hollywood, Rashee Rice.
Worthy was slower last year because of the injury.
Yeah, that's a good point about how slow with the injuries it was. So maybe this next year, fully healthy, it's like, okay, they're back up to the miles per hour.
Travis is older. He's not as fast. I mean, the list still goes on and on. But and some of those things.
But usually you don't get lighter and slower over the years.
But you do if you get older and more broken.
Yeah, and
and
injured.
that's definitely what they have been the last few years. And I go back to like the Devin Lloyd interception with the Jaguars. Again, part of that was repetition. It was Devin Lloyd admitted that he knew what was coming because they'd run that play so many times that he knew what was coming. But he also, in that situation on the goal line, knew that he didn't have to worry about playing the run.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And once again, how mends linebackers and DNs have we seen in this last season that were able to make plays in the passing game because they had no worries about having to try to defend the run?
Andy Reid's word was reaction.
Yeah.
On that January 5th press conference, end of season press conference, that there isn't a reaction that you're getting from the linebackers. Play action, you got to have those guys react, and there isn't a reaction.
No.
There's no respect for the run game, so those guys have to react, And then he also said, and it's also nice to hit a couple of those from time to time and have some big plays out of the running game. I just wonder if they're going to go more under center with Kenneth Walker as opposed to shotgun.
I mean, they can, but, to me, there's a lot of focus on that. And I'm like, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going from 6-man boxes and guys, like Andy Reid said, not reacting to all of a sudden 7-man boxes and everybody on that defense, and especially in the box, at least is playing downhill instead of, dropping back, that is going to change the life for Kelsey and Mahomes more than anybody else.
And hopefully for guys over the top, that they actually have to respect the run. You throw the play action, the safety takes 2 steps to bite, and then it's tough to get back there, and they can take advantage of a Taekwon or Worthy or things like that. Matt Derrick, we always enjoy getting an opportunity to take advantage of your brain. Matt Derrick, 41 is the Mike Podcast, Chiefs Digest. Thank you as always, sir. We will talk to you next week, and we'll see if they have anybody else that they have signed by then. I hope they do.
I imagine they will.
I imagine they will as well. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll continue rolling. Brett Yormark has weighed in on the floor being changed out. We'll play that clip that he just talked to Pat McAfee, and we'll play that clip of what he had to say as to the decision that was made to go with the hardwood floor as opposed to the glass floor. We'll hear that coming up next. Yeah,
Didn't know
decades, baby. Decades. 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
4 dudes on this show.
4 dudes, decades.
Guys being dudes and 4 dudes born.
Just talking about decades.
In different decades.
Talking about our decades,
Mick,
man.
70s. Jason, 80s.
Very early, barely 80s.
Stu,
Biggest decade.
Stu, 90s. Darcy, 2010s.
Got him. What's it called? Is it called the aughts? Is that right?
2000
Called the
aughts?
aughts?
That's what I've always said, like
Yeah,
early 2000
yes.
aughts. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. I was born with the greatest decades ever in the 80s.
If I would have done it the opposite, I would have said mixed 60s. But
So technically, there was never a year 0. So technically, 80 is the 10th year of the
I agree.
70s.
Totally
so
agree.
you're in the 70s.
I'm more of a 70s baby.
The first day of the
still
new
90s.
first day of the new millennium was January 1st, 2001, not 2000.
Yep.
So there you go.
So I guess I was born in 93 somehow.
You're still born
Still
in
born in
93.
the 90s.
Regardless.
Yeah,
I was born in 94,
I was
but now
born. I was born in
No,
No, it's not.
no, I was born in 94.
No, if you were born in 90, then you would be a part of the 80s, is what he's saying. Not that you would be a part of
Don't-
89.
not that you have to change
Doesn't
your
mean that
year.
you were moved to 89.
Don't do math with
So mine
Stu,
the 90s
baby.
then?
When were you born?
02.
No.
No, Darcy, that's many years.
It would have to be if you were born in 2000.
What is wrong?
I was born early 80, which is technically part of the 70s.
So
is
in
what
the year
he's saying.
2000, it was still the last millennium. It was still
Yeah.
the last century. We didn't hit the new millennium or century
That's right.
or decade, really, until January 1st,
It's like
2001.
how,
that's why we're
how
doing
the
all of our-
19th century is 1800s.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
and
a
that's
similar deal.
And that's
Yeah,
why
yes.
that's why this summer we're doing all of our 25 year of the 21st Century Awards in 2026.
So in soccer, if a guy scores with 56 minutes and 55 seconds on the clock,
that is the 57th minute.
he scored in the 57th minute.
That's just
Or 56:01, I guess is a better
56:01,
example.
even that. Yeah,
yeah,
so
so that's a
57th
better
minute.
example
Yeah,
because
it's
it was
better one the other
56,
way.
30. Yeah, it's like, well, that's because it's more than half.
Yep.
57th minute. And you know how I learned that? Watching soccer. That's how I learned it. Yep. Sometimes you just got to embrace it. You know what I mean? Just dive head first.
It's like
you know what I mean?
icing in hockey. No one really knows until you watch. You're like, yeah,
gotta
that's
watch
got to
that.
be.
It's
Yeah,
2 lines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, I don't.
But isn't every pass icing?
Like
unless it's in the air.
I've never like even played recreational tennis, but I watched Wimbledon in the summers every year.
Yeah.
For hours on hours. And I know all the rules.
You don't have to play tennis.
Well, just
in-
you got to hit it in the boxes.
That's it. That's right.
pretty
You
much all
got
it
it.
is.
That's
Just hit it in the
yes.
boxes. Don't hit it out.
Do you know the score? Give me the scoring.
you don't have to play tennis
Love,
to understand
love,
what love is.
15 love, 30
I can't
love.
get my damn joke off,
40
Sterling.
love,
Good
deuce,
God, man.
Advantage.
There you go. Yeah, nice.
I know ball.
Can you give me 5 seconds
Tennis
here?
ball.
Quick, Sterling. Can you give me 5 seconds? You don't have to
I
play.
think pickleball has
Damn
this
it.
similar rules.
3, 2, and 1. You know, you don't have to play tennis to understand love, Mick.
Oh God, we're waiting for that.
We waited for that.
Yeah, that's the payoff. That's what makes it
That's
great.
the payoff.
That's the payoff, guys.
At least
You're
it was like
welcome.
a Davis Love the third golf joke.
But
I mean, what
this
is
is tennis.
that?
This was tennis. Why would you give a Davis Love the third golf when this is tennis?
Because it
And
somehow
love,
wouldn't have been as bad.
Love is in the scoring. You see, he was talking about tennis and scoring. It's in love. If you understand that, you don't know the scoring of tennis, obviously. I mean, somebody's not a football fan.
Well,
clearly.
sometimes you score and sometimes it's love.
That is true. Yes, and ultimate when you get into love, there's less scoring, is what you're saying, right?
Could be.
It could be. Let's hear from Brett Yormark. There was scoring at the Big 12 tournament, but there was some slipping, there was some falling, there was some court conversation. Glass versus the old school hardwood floors. They've gone back to the
I
wood
got
floors
it.
tonight.
Glass was putting people on their ass.
Okay.
That's better than his love joke.
Yeah, agreed.
No, it wasn't. It was not at all. That was stupid.
Wood
That was
it-
just, he just rhymed.
Wood is what
He did
we
the most-
should.
He did the most. He did the simplest rhyme you could come up. Glass. Ass. I rhymed. I could be a rapper. Let's hear from Brett Yormark
I don't like your
on
sass.
with Pat McAfee, and he weighs in on the decision and what went into switching from the glass floor to now the traditional floor.
Anytime you innovate, there's going to be risk, and you know that going in. And I think it's fair to say that you never expect 100% buy-in. That being said, there were mixed reviews. Some players liked it, some players didn't. There was discussion about making adjustments. There was discussion about a potential slippage. And following the games yesterday, I met with, the 4 semifinal coaches, And I had been encouraging feedback all week. In fact, for the last 2 weeks, starting with the women's and into the men's. And I was very intentional about that. And we decided last night that for us, most importantly, is that you've got 4 of the biggest brands in men's college basketball competing tonight. And the conversation should be about those teams and not the court. And I made that decision ultimately, following the feedback I had received from some of the key stakeholders. And I feel good about it. I think it was the right thing to do. And I often tell my staff, listen, we're in the good judgment business. It's critically important to make good judgment. And I made a judgment call last night, and I stand by it.
Okay, I like the judgment call. I appreciate you looking out for your conference. It's much bigger than just the court. I also appreciate you getting some sample research here for this LED court. And how far away do you think we are from actually having that as a potential option for teams, whether colleges or professional?
Listen, I'm still a lover of the LED court based on what it can do, and it was brought to life certainly throughout the women's and men's. That being said, I said to the owner last night and his staff, you got to go back to the lab. You got to refine some things. And let's keep the conversation
Hey, we need
going.
better squeaks when we get we need to squeak like the old Nike and one commercial. We need the squeaks. We need to
Listen, Pat, there was a lot of squeakage for sure. But candidly, they got to go back to the lab and they got to figure out, and nothing's perfect in life. They got to refine it, and we're going to stay in touch with them. But, listen, I am an innovator, and I believe in trying to be different and lean into that point of differentiation, and that's what we did.
So I mentioned this earlier in the show that yesterday on New Day, there was one of the guests that they had on, I can't remember who it was, but said, talking to one of the coaches or people around the Big 12 said, this feels like it's 2.0 version of the court, and they probably should have waited for 4.0 or 5.0 version of the court to actually implement it. The idea was good, understand what they were going for. It just maybe isn't ready for full-on use, but it's pretty close to being ready for full-on use. You just need the next version or two to get to that level.
I feel like this is my child since I was there last Monday when they debuted it.
Right.
I kind of championed it. I agree with you. I think it is still out there. It's still going to be viable. But there's two things here, right? It's like, okay, do you like the lighty lights and everything in the court? Do you like the changing and all that stuff and all the stuff you can do with it? I feel like, especially for TV, the Big 12 did not choose to do anything great with the gray floor. And I mean, you have all the options.
So many
you have
things.
all the colors in
You
that.
should actually make it look like hardwood. You should, like when they're
Which
playing.
they can.
Yeah.
They have that. Yeah, they have everybody's home floor.
We have the technology.
Yes, or just something cooler than just like light gray that just gets washed out. Anyway, so there's that side of it, but then there's the most important side, which is not the LED under the floor; it's the layer above it, which is the glass. It's a glass compound, and is it safe? Is it do these guys and girls like it? And so I'll say this now: I did a story after the women's tournament. I was assigned to do the story on the floor and get reaction from the women. So we had K-State women talking about KU women. And for the most part, everybody's like, I think it's kind of cool, whatever. And then, but you had a couple women, one of the BYU ladies, and then Elle Evans of KU. She's like, that's pretty cool, but there's a little slick out there. We're slipping a little bit much, but it was okay. So bulk of my story is like, okay, this is kind of cool, whatever. But hey, there are, news, journalism, you're supposed to get both sides. Yeah. So I reached out. The PR lady with them was very friendly on Monday. And then I reached out to her, and she's like, let me check with them. And they got back to me, and they're like, well, we have they don't have a comment on that. And, in fact, we would like you just to not mention that part or not mention we have no comment. I'm like, oh, well, okay, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, so not how it works.
So not how it works. Still, I mean, I treated it with kid gloves. I just talked about, because by then Bill Self.
No comment on the no comment. No comment.
No comment. And so, but by then Bill Self had talked about that.
Yeah.
We have no comment on the no comment. And so I couldn't at that time have been, because it was kind of viral at that point. Yeah. I couldn't have been the first person reaching out to them. And then it kind of caught fire these last few days. And look, Christian Anderson got hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, that's maybe the most eye-opening thing is like, well, first of all, we survived 3 games with A.J. DeBonsa, who could be not the best player in our conference, but could be the best player in America come the vote here in a week or two. And now we've got Arizona out there. We've got KU. We've got Darren Peterson. All these guys. The last thing we want is for one of these guys to get injured because they're slipping on the floor and they're out for the tournament.
Darren Peterson chose the most dangerous floor to play on to play his most minutes of the season. Like that is maybe the biggest surprise of the entire season. That floor, he's like, you know what? Let me get 39 in tonight.
37.
I will say this, though.
Let me get 39. Don't even take me out, Bill. I got this.
It's going to be really funny. The people who love the court, if anyone slips tonight, they'll say, well, what's the difference?
Well, yeah, exactly. You still slip on wood floor, and I don't know if anybody was keeping a tally or track of whatever.
To me,
it did. Watching it though,
it was unnatural.
It felt like it was more.
There were more unnatural slips than what we're used to on a basketball court.
Yes.
That's
Again,
how I would describe it.
And eventually, I think there still is a viable option for this in the future. It just comes down to, you know how football, sometimes you have short spikes versus long spikes versus artificial versus real
Iowa
turf.
State switched shoes at halftime.
Yeah, I would say that maybe they
go to longer cleats.
They did. They actually put baseball spikes on them.
They put a Windex on them, and the Windex really gave them a little extra boost there.
And here's the deal.
Because it's glass.
Well, yeah.
Here's the deal. So the Magic practice on this.
Yeah.
The UCF practices on this, and according to the company, they all love it, and they're still doing it. And Big 12 teams and NBA teams have the option of practicing on it in Orlando. And I wonder too why there was a little bit of slippage with the women, but a lot more with the men, which makes sense physically.
I said the guards. I said if you're a big guy, it doesn't affect you as much. If you're
you're
a
moving
shifty
faster,
guard,
you're moving faster. The men are heavier, they're taller, they're bigger, all that stuff. So there's naturally going to be more of that because it is now the I'm going to score internet points opinion of like, oh really? You let the women play on it, not the men? Well, 12 of the 15 games, of the men were played on it.
Only
and
three games that aren't going to be played on it.
DeBonsa played on it 3 times. And so I doubt it was a female-male thing. It was more of like, okay, we're seeing a lot more because these guys are bigger and they're faster, and it's this problem is rearing its head more. So it's the biggest thing of all of it, and it's egg on the face of the Big 12, but
kind of not. They saved it a little bit.
I kind of credit Brett Yormark for being like, well, the bigger egg on the face is if Braden Burries tears an Achilles on it.
Right.
You know, that's the biggest PR hit.
And by the way, I thought it was a little interesting because it's supposed to be a little, maybe more give, which I thought was interesting, being in glass.
Yeah, it's a little softer. Yeah,
a little
more
softer.
give. I was out there.
It's weird saying that on glass, but when Darren Peterson in the first half had that brutal fall,
yeah,
maybe the glass gave him more give.
Well, how often does glass break glass? And that's the thing with Darren Peterson is sometimes you got to wonder about that.
Well, was there an emergency?
No, there wasn't. Brett Yormark said that he met with the 4 semifinal coaches, but we also, Mick, you can use this audio if you want to, but we did acquire exclusive audio that Brett Yormark was talking with what is an unnamed athletic trainer last night, and Brett Yormark, and I think it was with Texas Tech, but we're not sure. But this is the exclusive audio that we had, somehow a microphone in the room with the athletic trainer talking with Brett Yormark.
You know, you read what others had done, and you took the next step. You didn't earn the knowledge for yourselves, so you don't take any responsibility for it. You stood on the shoulders of geniuses to accomplish something as fast as you could, and before you even knew what you had, you patented it and packaged it and slapped it on a plastic lunchbox, and now you're selling it. You want to sell it. Well,
I don't think you're giving us our due credit.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they didn't stop to think if they should.
It's powerful audio. You can use it if you want to.
It's great audio considering they were just kind of spying on him.
Yeah, right.
The microphone was right on him.
Just credit the Zone Sports Radio 810 with acquiring that audio. But unnamed athletic trainer, and Brett Yormark would like a little more credit. But yeah, it's fascinating behind the scenes. Fascinating, yeah. And randomly, that guy sounds like Jeff Goldblum.
His name is actually Jeff Silverblum.
That's right. Yes.
So,
yes.
Well, it's funny. I love that Yormark went on McAfee, but then didn't talk to like local reporters last night. That's kind of cool. But then also he was like, the story should be about the teams. Well, it's not gonna be. It's at least for today. It's going to carry over about the teams and the floor. And we already knew these teams are great, and probably a lot of people could have picked this this Final Four in Kansas City.
I saw Tech fans complaining a lot, saying this is ridiculous. They need to do a redo of the entire tournament. I'm like,
well, mainly just one
Texas
game.
Tech said that?
I saw not them, but some of their fans.
Yeah,
some of their fans
just
on
one
Twitter.
Game, though. They only have the whole tournament, just one game.
No, all the 23-year-old, no offense, Darcy, blog reporters from Arizona They want to redo the tournament in Vegas. Yes, let's just move it tomorrow. We can get it all done in a week.
That'd be great.
Go to Vegas.
Has there ever been a more overrated city in the history of the world?
Yes, Nashville. More zone next, Michael.
Wrong.
Go. Throw to break.
Wrong.
Throw to break. This is the
Vegas.
second segment, right?
It's Vegas,
Still?
dude.
Second, yeah. Throw to break.
It's
All right, on the other side of the break, we'll talk about K-State hiring their next head coach. Casey Alexander has been made official. 5 years, $3.4 million per year. The Belmont coach will be taking over at Kansas State. I said in the first hour, this feels like the basketball version of Chris Kleiman. Solid coach, adding or keeping in the football side of it, stability, but on the basketball side, adding somebody that's run a couple of different programs. They've been successful at their level, no NIL budget. He's recruited and developed some players that went on to make some NIL money. Can he be a basketball version of Kurt Signetti, that once you have an NIL budget and you bring some of those guys along that you can see the talent at lower levels?
I'm going to go no.
He's not going to win a football national championship?
He will not, no.
Oh, dang it.
Or basketball.
All right, one more hour to go here on this Friday edition. Big night tonight. Downtown, Power and Light, the Miller Lite Fan Fest, presented by Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Floor time on that? Did you finally get some floor time?
Yeah, we
Get
did.
you rip the jersey off?
We
and
had
like,
a great time. Nate and I and Steven, and we gave away a lot of prizes.
You know how proud Chad was of this guy here?
He messed his hair up.
He invited him to the KU game.
Yeah.
He and Nate. So
Nate
come on,
and I.
come over to the KU game and sit with
Last
us.
night or?
Yeah, last night.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. Had a
about
great
that?
time. Then I'm back on Saturday. I believe Steven's down there today, and then I'm back on Saturday.
Unpopular opinion, KU played some losing basketball last night, but TCU just played it better. Played losing basketball better. I don't know, 4 turnovers down the stretch in a row was probably it.
Yeah, the finding the ways to losing in basketball. Cincinnati UCF the day before playing some losing basketball back and forth. I thought it was fun, though, because of the floor, and sometimes you can't tell where the sideline was at times.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun when it was KU playing 5-on-6 when Jamie Dixon was guarding Darren Peterson a couple times
What
in the first
happened
half.
there? I need a wider shot to see where
I feel like
Peterson was when he got the bear hug.
But I think he got fouled, though. Like, that's the thing. Is like, that was a complete miscall foul on Jamie Dixon
Yes, they did.
on Darren Peterson. Like, that was an obvious foul.
We got coaches even impeding movement, right?
Right.
How do you not get teed up?
You should have been.
That was
These
a technical and a
college
half.
officials are awful. They swallow their whistles, and they don't want. We talk about the violations all the time.
And then they swallow it on the obvious ones, and then all of a sudden you barely tap a guy, and it's like, no, that might be a technical. That might be a flagrant.
There's still the anticipation. I'm like, I know, I've seen this before. It's gonna be a foul. And you look at the replay. Oh, there wasn't there.
Well, I think there's going to be a change on the goaltending call next year. I think they are going to allow you to review a goaltend that was not called as part of a coach's review, because there were 3 of them in Nashville alone that were uncalled goaltends, but because they didn't call it, they can't go back and review it. Had they called a goaltend, you could go back and review if it was or not, which means let's just go ahead and make this like the turnovers, and NFL referees just let the play out so we can review it automatically.
You would think that would be an obvious step.
We're going to call it a fumble. And now I think they're going to call more. I wonder in Nashville in the SEC tournament if they'll call more goaltends just so they can go and review it, because they missed 3 obvious ones yesterday, 2 in the Georgia game that could have been incredibly costly for Georgia in a game where they were down by 3 with 4 seconds left, and then 1 in the Missouri game with 8.5 to go.
How about this? Do what you do on like layups where it's clearly a foul, but you wait to see if the ball goes in, whether you're going to call the foul or not.
What game was it? The KU
Well, they do that.
game?
They've done that for years and years. But like, apply that same dumb logic to goaltends.
They did. A guy complained that the ball's not off of me, and then the ref goes, okay, foul on you. Then they called he waited, because if you're going to complain about it, the ball's I know who the ball's off of, but I don't want to call foul here.
KU TCU last night, Marco Jackson was there for the rebound, and he got fouled by TCU.
That's the one, yeah.
But I think that was an official changing the call late because of replay, because when they brought replay, one of my beefs with replay was, how many times do we see a ref go, you fouled him, but it was out of bounds on him, but I'm going to give them the ball, not to call a foul on you.
100%.
They can't
It's
do
not
that
on you.
anymore.
He fouled you, so I'm just going to give the ball back to you.
You get the ball, no foul on him, but you get the ball.
No, you can't do that anymore.
It's kind of a ticky-tack foul, but I'm going to stay with it. I think the guy got fouled. It was off El Marco, and he was like, we're going to go.
It was like
nope.
the Arkansas Mizzou review the other day on Phillips.
He knew.
The guy crawled over his back,
Yeah.
and then they're just looking at the replay the entire time. Who went out? I'm like, yeah, it's obvious it went out of Mizzou, but what about just the mauling in midair?
Right.
Can we use some nuance and some sort of
a way to okay,
be
we
a
missed
human?
this.
Yeah,
I
we're
do
going to actually
think-
call a foul on this guy.
I think the ref in real time in his mind was like, oh no, this is going to be reviewed. It's clearly a foul on TCU. It's going to be reviewed, and it's going to give them the ball because that was off on El Marco. So foul. I'm calling a foul on you, because instead of going to because TCU was going to review that, because that was clearly off on El Marco. It was just he was hammered. I mean, the guy tackled him while he was in the air.
What I hated about for you guys on that play, like they clearly watched that 20 times and saw they missed a foul. I'm like, all right, Mizzou's going to get one back here. And they were whistle happy. They were ready to call everything, and they never got one back after that. I'm like, that's cheap. You got to make up for your mistakes.
What do you think of Casey Alexander, Belmont coach? Sure. He's made one tournament in his career.
Okay, I heard of him first last night at 10 o'clock. Okay, let's
So
let's
what do
get
you
it
think
out
of your
there.
research since
I
10
know,
o'clock?
I know the school, Belmont. I know it's in Nashville. Haley Lewis went to Belmont. I know it's a good singing school.
Yeah, let's.
And it's a team that is either kind of around the tournament or making the tournament a lot of years, and whatever league they're in. And Casey Alexander on the broadcast, they said he's a good offensive mind.
Yep.
I've exhausted all my knowledge.
They're in the Missouri Valley.
And he also coached at Stetson, which one of the great
The Hatters, dude.
The Hatters, baby. Let's
Dude,
go.
the Hatters.
And Lipscomb, which is also in Nashville, correct?
Yes.
Belmont, but do you want him to coach K-State?
Really? That's what we're going with. Okay.
That's still better than your loved one, dude.
No. It's not.
We have a lot of
No, that was awful.
bad puns to get out.
I know there will be more job openings and maybe better job openings than K-State, but I felt like it was a little rushed and that maybe they could have landed one of the sexier names, although maybe he's the first guy on their list. There's a lot of inside basketball there that I'm not privy to.
Utah State, the head coach for Utah State was a pretty popular name and one that was linked to K-State.
St. Louis kid.
Well, Schertz just signed an extension.
He signed an extension.
Oh, did he?
Yep.
He signed a 2-year deal with
Got him some money.
SLU, and then Providence fired Kim English.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I was going to bring that up earlier.
What's the Miami coach? What's his situation? Ohio.
Jim Larrañaga. Oh, wait, no.
No. Miami.
Travis Steele was at Xavier at one point, right?
It'd be a steal if K-State would have got him.
No, not gonna. The guy can't even win his own conference tournament.
So right now, the big jobs that
the
were
guy's
out there.
0-1 since the regular season.
The big jobs that are out there are K-State, Arizona State. What else?
Providence is in the
Providence,
Big East.
In the Big East, yeah, that counts as a Power 5-ish.
Yeah.
Type.
Belmont.
That's now open. Yes. Cross
Touche, sir.
Cross K-State office.
So now
Belmont's
K-State is not open anymore. That is correct, sir. You got that one right.
So yeah, right now, like not a lot of competition.
Yeah.
A lot of ways, you're the best job opening. And again, yeah, things change a lot of times after Final Four. I was surprised. I mean, a lot of times all this stuff gets done at the Final Four because every coach in America is there, and all the radio guys are there too.
That's right.
But listen, maybe that's the guy they wanted, they targeted, and he'll turn out fine. But that's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, he could.
I like that he's run a program before. I don't like the assistant elevation.
Syracuse is open too. I should point that out. Syracuse opened up. So Syracuse, Providence, no longer K-State, Arizona State. Those and Belmont.
And Belmont. Don't forget
is
Belmont.
Definitely
Syracuse
open.
a little bit better than K-State, I guess.
I'd say it is.
I'm joking. It is.
Okay,
Yes. It's great.
I couldn't tell you. You were pretty good with your
Sarcasm there.
sarcasm
Okay.
there. Yeah, I didn't know you were being facetious at first.
You didn't know that? Yeah, he can clearly coach offense, but can you coach offense at the higher level and then also be able to stop teams? So I mean,
Jerome Tank could coach offense. Couldn't coach defense.
He recruited Haggerty. He shot it 30 times a game.
yeah.
That's
Well,
the
they scored a lot. I mean, it wasn't like
Yeah.
K-State couldn't score. That was
well,
an issue.
Well, I think a lot of it too.
Well,
is PPP, right? A lot of
sometimes.
points per possession, or a
Yeah.
lot of more possessions rather.
Well, I mean, the last 4 years for Belmont, they have ranked in the top 21 of three-point percentage in the nation. 5th, 21st, 17th, and this year they're first in three-point percentage. And so, yeah, again, he can recruit players that can score. Defensively, they've been in the 100s and the 150s and the 200s of defensive efficiency. So,
Where's K-State?
right around there, too.
Sign me up. Oklahoma State was at 347 in defensive points allowed. I'm like, I didn't know there were 347 D1 basketball teams. So I looked it up. There's 361.
They won that many games with that, too. It's very impressive.
Yeah, because they were like 25th in scoring.
Yeah.
Their differential is like 1 point.
Yeah, they won. Belmont won the conference by 3 games and then lost their first game of the tournament.
They lost the 8th seed, right, or something like that.
Yep. And that Missouri Valley was crazy. It was like
It was crazy.
six
The 6 seed,
six
you
seed,
and I won
UNI.
it. Yeah.
Right, but Belmont wins by 3 games. They had a 3-game
disappointing finish,
and they lost by like 20 something.
They did. They got killed.
They got destroyed in that game.
Who was it? Wasn't Missouri State? Was
no,
it?
it was to Drake. It was to Drake. Yeah,
It was to Drake.
It was to Drake. Literally Drake here that works here. It wasn't to the team.
That's a more embarrassing loss. Than
Right.
even.
Yeah. And then Drake lost to Illinois Chicago, and Illinois Chicago lost to UNI.
Yeah, it was like 171 or something like that, wasn't it?
179. Yeah.
Cincinnati just fired Wes Miller.
Yep. He's
officially.
Okay.
K-State's a better job than that.
After that collapse,
Wait,
against
Cincinnati
UCF.
basketball, men's basketball?
Yeah.
Cincinnati.
Yes.
Oh, are they
That's
not?
basketball.
I mean, are they definitely not in the tournament?
No, they're not. They needed to win
They needed to
that
beat-
game, and I think
for
Arizona.
sure on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they.
If they did beat UCF, you probably could have there's like a 10% chance.
I
but-
think if they beat UCF, it would have been like on an Auburn level of do they get in? They probably
Yes.
don't deserve to be in, but are they
Agreed.
close? Da-da-da.
It's funny.
They needed to beat UCF and then Arizona last night to be in.
The Big 12 top obviously is better than I think any league, including the SEC. But I feel like the SEC middle is given a lot more credit than the Big 12 middle.
It's fat.
It's fat.
It's
big old
fat
fat
conference.
SEC
I mean,
middle.
really
It's
fat
sturdy.
conference.
It's got to
thick.
swallow the
It's a fat conference.
tire.
It
Isn't that
has
what,
its own
isn't that what Mark Pope said?
gravitational pull around it.
We play the Mark Pope from yesterday. I think Mark Pope said the SEC is fat.
that what he
In
said?
the middle, it's a very fat conference.
Fat?
Pull it up. Fat. Pull it up from yesterday, Mark Pope, because he was previewing the Missouri game and talked about how well Missouri was playing. They're just playing really.
Do you want me to cut the fat?
No, just just play the whole thing. Let's just hear the whole thing. Mark Pope before they beat Missouri, talking about previewing Missouri.
You know, our bigs are a little beat up right now. They have a really tremendous front line. Of course, Mitchell's unbelievable. Their front line is really good. They're playing great basketball. It's going to be a challenge, but it doesn't matter. Take any of the 15 teams in the league and say we're playing tomorrow. I'm going to tell you, it's a great challenge. It's a great league. Yeah. The middle of this league is just so fat, and it's going to be fun. So let's get to it.
Not even PH. I think it's an
Right,
F.
but the middle typically, because it's hard to lower the waistline, like you can lose fat in different areas, maybe the arms and face, but the middle is where it is most difficult. And
like
so,
a
yeah,
muffin
it's
top.
very fat. Very fat
It just
league in
muffin
the middle.
tops more in that league.
Yeah,
So you know,
100%.
Carrot Top's a comedian. Why did Muffin Top never become a thing?
Because it wasn't a comedian.
Comedian.
Yeah, I
like
guess
a
I'm not
fat
sure.
guy.
I'm not sure. Either way, I feel like this hiring for K-State has a Chris Kleiman feel of veteran coach, runs a stable program, solid. Not sure he's going to get you over the top, but it's not going to be what it's been the last 5 or 6 or 7 years where Bruce Weber went from an Elite Eight and winning the Big 12 to then disaster, and Jerome Tang went to an Elite Eight and it's been disaster. It feels like there's going to be consistency, and I think there's a level probably of Kansas State going, man, can we just be in the bubble conversation every once in a while? Can we just like be competitive in the bubble? Like I know Missouri fans are like, hey, make the tournament and win. But before Dennis Gates got there, it's like, hey, can you even make the tournament? And then it's like, hey, can you win when you get there? Because you'll want more and more.
Yeah.
But I
Once
think
you
that's
get
where
to that
K-State's
point,
at.
it's not like, oh, I'm satisfied now.
But you need to get to that point. You know, you need to get try to get to that
I feel
point
like
first.
they've been at that point minus the last 2 years, probably,
3
right?
years. Yeah, 3 years.
The year after the Elite Eight, they weren't
Yeah.
bubble?
Well, no, because of they lost Tomlin, and then it kind of went downhill, right? I don't know how were they close to the bubble that year?
I thought
may
they
be
lost
wrong
less
about that.
games, but I
may be
figured
wrong
they were
about
around
that.
20 wins.
I don't know, but that bubble was so strong that
was
year.
fat that year.
This is a really bad bubble. You know, it's a terrible bubble this year, as they say. You know, it's the worst bubble maybe ever.
Is there anything
Maybe ever.
everybody's more unified against than expansion of the tournament?
No, Soren's very much in favor of it.
That's the only guy I know.
Well, his point is, I actually understand his point. His point is,
Get the more little guys in?
no.
Well, then.
Well,
you've
it's
lost me.
okay. So if we're arguing over these last 7 or 8, then are we going to argue over the next 15? Why don't we have those play on a Tuesday or Wednesday? The top 48 get a bye, and then you get more actual fun games on a Tuesday and Wednesday, like a full day. And now, hey, now it's Thursday of the first round of the tournament, and you've watched more closely compared teams sort of playing it out for, oh, you're on the bubble, you want to get in? Well, here's your chance to get in. And they're all like Auburn versus, VCU, Mizzou taking on
I don't need Auburn in the tournament. I don't
me
need
out.
the
But
entire
but-
SEC.
but you know
what?
But
I
are
don't
they,
need
though?
the entire Big 12.
But is Tuesday and people argue, is Tuesday and Wednesday in the tournament?
Better idea.
Or is it Thursday in the tournament?
yeah,
you know?
it's in the tournament.
Better idea. 364 team tournament. That includes, I think, 3 D2 schools. Northwest Missouri.
So don't even play the regular season then.
No,
Doesn't matter.
it's
Doesn't matter.
It's just
you just wait. You got to practice till March.
And each game is a 7-game series. And
You start at Christmas.
You
Well, see, that's
start at
dumb.
Christmas.
That's dumb because they are actually expanding. So let's actually stick
Are
to
they,
what
though?
actually. Yes, they're going to expand it.
I've heard that for 20 years.
They're going to expand. Well, they've been.
They did.
I've
They
heard
did.
They
confidence.
expanded from 64 to 68.
Well,
and
yeah,
they're gonna
20 years ago.
And they're going to
That was
continue.
20 years
And they're
ago.
going to continue.
A long time ago.
Well, it
They
went
did
from-
that because of the Mountain West. because they added the 65th team, and then like if we have 65, we got to have more of a round number.
And now
it's been 68 forever.
And now they'll do it for
what are they going to expand to and when? I want to hear it.
Network games, so you have more games and a higher TV package to sell to.
So 1985 was when it expanded it to. No, I'm just giving you the history. So to 85 went to 64, and then 26 years later in 2011 it went to 68. So it's been like this for 15. So yeah, I guess we're getting pretty close to. You're getting due for an update.
Are you due?
I think
I would do a deal if it meant more little guys, because that's what makes this tournament great. It's not a 6-12 Oklahoma team.
I would agree.
Getting it. You know what? That doesn't matter to me whatsoever. I think most sports fans screw that.
Well, I think
you should be, if you got to get to 500 in your conference to get in.
Well, to me, for example,
that should be the rule. Get more little guys.
Mid majors, if you win the regular season versus, and if you win the conference tournament, if it's two different teams, then both should be able to get in.
Well, there you go. If you expand the tournament, then maybe you would get both of those.
Well, that's what it should be, but that's not what's going to end up being.
Rule of like,
it's going to be an Auburn and Oklahoma.
If you go 7-11 in the SEC, you can't get in. I'm all for that. I know you love the big guys and you're like this elite.
That's in football, though.
Not in basketball.
That's in football. Well, basketball, the big guys end up winning.
I thought you said before you don't like the Cinderellas. You don't.
No, I like Cinderella's first couple rounds. Yeah. And then I want the seeds to play out to what the seeds are, so we get better games.
He likes the mean sisters.
I like,
No,
I like the Cinderella all the way through.
Right, that's fine. But I'm kind of excited that we don't have Utah taking on Arizona tonight. That we've got Iowa State. That we didn't have a Cinderella go and knock off some team. That we get the 4 teams playing tonight because it's the best matchup.
Was FAU not fun? Was that not
Felix? That's not a good draft pick. It
no,
hasn't
but
been fun.
wasn't George Mason fun and FAU fun and St. Peter's fun and Norfolk State, not for us Purdue fans, but like
Norfolk State round of 32.
It's so many examples.
Again, you're talking
Bucknell, Belmont.
Do you not understand what the first
Northern
2 rounds?
Iowa.
Do you not understand what the first 2 rounds mean, Sterling? Norfolk lost in the round of 32.
George Mason.
Okay, there's one. VCU, there's one.
FAU.
Every once in a while, it's fine. But I'm talking about when you have a crazy
Dunk City.
Yeah. Okay. Great. You're great. You're naming teams that have had some upsets. Awesome, man. Let's have a trivia contest then, and just name teams that have had upsets
but the
before.
the point I'm making is that it happens.
No bleep. I'm not saying it doesn't happen.
Were you on board with Loyola? Like when Loyola went to the Final Four, where you're
Wichita
like,
State.
It was fine. It was fine. But I'd rather see the matchups. They get there, that's fine. Okay, what I'm saying is if I have my perfect tournament, they're upset. No specific individual team. I'm talking about a perfect tournament. The first couple of rounds, there are some upsets, buzzer beaters. That's awesome. And the Elite 8 and Final Four, we get awesome teams, great matchups. Last year's Final Four was amazing. The games were awesome. And we didn't have to watch UConn Butler play a 49-47 game. But what a great story Butler was.
I feel like all these teams match up in November, December anyway. We've seen them already.
Yeah, I'm cool with watching nonsense.
I want to see underdogs, baby.
We should get more James Madisons in the football.
I will say,
that's awesome,
UConn's first national championship on their way to going back-to-back was god-awful. The year that FAU did make it, it was just like, okay.
No, they were amazing. Everybody remembers those games. Who did FAU play?
It was San Diego State.
I don't know.
I think it was.
It was San Diego State.
Oh, okay. Sterling was told who it was because he loved that tournament.
It was
so much.
awesome.
He remembers
good
those
tournament,
games.
bad Final Four.
I can't tell you most.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
I couldn't tell you any.
Oh, so it doesn't matter then.
Well, no, it's fun because you remember the teams. I don't care they played. I care about the small teams that made it.
No, you're caring about teams that made it to like the second round. You're just
no. FAU made it to a Final Four.
Yes, but 80% of the teams you just named were just second round teams. The first couple of rounds. Yes, you make it to a Sweet 16. Cool. That still means the 1 and 2 can face off in the Elite 8. Great. Florida Gulf Coast made it to the Sweet 16. Awesome.
Maybe what we consider best of the 1 and 2 is really maybe a 5 seed or a 7 seed or something like that. Maybe they're the best team.
Could be.
Now,
but we get a good matchup.
Basketball can be a crapshoot. That tournament. How often does the best team, quote unquote, best team?
Hardly ever.
Right. Hardly ever.
Yeah.
But we get some of these great matchups there with the best teams, which is what I like to see. I like to see everybody has their own opinion. And the first couple of rounds, I'll take a couple of upsets. I'll take a number of upsets. Elite 8, Final Four. I want the big dogs going back and forth.
What do you want to see in the tournament?
I mean, I'd like it to stay at 68, but I know it's not going to. So it's like I'd like to stay at
76
68.
probably.
I'd like to stay at 68.
76.
I'm like you with golf. Shrink it back to 64.
Yeah, shrink. Shrink the
I mean,
game.
I'm fine with it staying the way it is, but if it's going to expand, then what are the ways that it expands and what are the ideas for it to be expanding and not just let's expand and now everybody's going to play 7 games. Well, then what's the benefit of you being a 1 seed if you still have to play 7 games? The benefit would be, okay, we're taking these bottom 30 some odd teams. They're playing Tuesday, Wednesday, and the top 48 are going to get a bye.
Play-in games for the NBA. It's what they do from 7 to 10. 1 through 6 doesn't get penalized.
But it's a little bit like that. Yeah, how do you still, because they're going to expand. I'm pretty confident about it. I don't think so many national writers would be this adamant this year about this is why we shouldn't expand if they weren't already understanding that it's going to happen.
Again, like I've heard that forever. I also heard college football was never going to expand its playoff, and that they just shot out of a cannon and did.
And this is where it should have been,
I mean, I've literally
agree.
been hearing this for a long, long time, so I'm hoping it's just something people say. But yeah, hopefully it didn't go to
Now, I can't wait for Thursday and Friday
or something like that.
I can't mark this sound here. I can't wait for Thursday and Friday for there to be an upset and Sterling and Mick go, oh, Jason, I know you hated that one.
Yeah,
I know you hated that upset.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, because you guys,
can't wait.
Because Sterling doesn't understand what the first 2 rounds means.
And
no, I did not.
I will
like
wait for next
Norfolk
Thursday
State.
and Friday. I will wait for 2 weeks from now, when
St.
a
Peter's
12 team gets to the Elite 8, and then I'll stay away from you. Okay,
that'd be fine. Every
I mean,
once in a while.
I get what you're saying, but even if it's early in the rat, it's still tight. I get what you're saying when you want the best teams late.
That's all I'm saying.
Did you like UMBC?
Oh, I thought it was fun. Yeah.
Did you like Richmond over Kentucky?
I liked.
No, what was it? Wasn't it Richmond? No, not Richmond. It was
Richmond has one.
Yeah,
Over
Richmond has.
You're thinking of Oakland.
That was Oakland.
But even then,
No, I hated that. I
to
had 3
Jason's
Kentucky
point,
players
I
on
hate
my player pool.
defending Jason.
Thank you,
He's
Michael.
not saying that he doesn't like upsets.
Thank you.
Upsets are
You
tight.
mentioned
Oakland lost in the round of 32.
No matter when they happen.
UMBC
Round of
lost
32.
next.
Round of 32.
St. Peter's been to what? Sweet 16?
Sweet 16.
Elite 8?
Sweet 16.
Was it Elite 8 for
I think
St.
it was the
Peter's?
Elite 8 for St. Peter's.
Did you hate that too?
You're fine.
No,
with,
some of those games are fine.
You're
good
fine
with
with
that.
even the 1 and 2 seeds losing those first couple rounds. It
If
doesn't even the best teams.
Because then if we
losing
get even a 4 seed is what a top 20 team. So if we get like the 2 seed versus a
top
4
15
seed or a
team.
5 seed, something like that, and it's what I don't want to see is the 15 made it to the round of 8, and we get this game that's a standalone, and it's a 25-point blowout. And what a great story they were. Awesome. That's cool. They were a great story when there were 15 other great stories. Now we got standalone games.
Hate that.
We got
Or the
standalone
7,
games.
9, and 1 seed make the Final Four, and you know the 1 seed's just going to roll through them.
You don't know. Could be.
You have no idea.
We have no idea.
The other ones didn't make it.
Thought they were going to.
Yeah.
But
don't
did
know.
they? I thought Mizzou was going to. I thought, KU was going to rock Bucknell and Northern Iowa and Belmont.
I had all of those picked. Not
I
because
thought Mizzou was
not-
going to knock off Norfolk State
No,
until.
I watched basketball, so
Yeah,
no,
that
that was
sucked.
clearly going to happen. I also knew that Norfolk State was going to go 1 of 25 from 3.
The next game, I knew
Against Florida.
I knew
The next
Lehigh
game.
was going to beat Duke.
And then totally knew that Louisville was going to knock off Purdue in the Sweet 16 and then face off against Florida and be like, wow, this Louisville team is making the Final Four to this region. Missouri would have ran circles around them. But they didn't get the opportunity because of stupid upsets. I disagree. The Norfolk State one was stupid. That was a terrible upset. I would like
One of
that
us was
not
in their
happen.
locker room afterward.
Norfolk State's locker? The room?
Yeah. Because KU was there, if you remember, in a different pod,
right.
because it was the last year of the Big
Right.
12.
Yeah.
And I was assigned to cover
Yeah.
the KU game earlier that day, and I did it, turned my story, and we were at DJ's dugout in Omaha having a couple pints.
I remember you telling me the story. Like
They're like,
oh, wait, you
all
got to go
right,
back.
we need you guys in the Norfolk State locker room. We're like, oh, okay.
Why? What's going on?
Well, we were watching.
What's-
We were
what's
watching. It was
happening?
across the street.
Yeah, that was.
We ran in there, and then I'm like, who's
Who's
who?
left there?
Who's the Irish guy?
Thank you to Lehigh and knocking off Duke
Later
an
on
hour
that day.
later.
Kylo Quinn.
Appreciate that. Oh my God,
Who's
yeah,
who's the Irish guy?
it was terrible. At least that guy played in the NBA
did
for
a
a
little
number
bit,
of
yeah.
years. Like
He did.
yeah.
Was it a while?
Yeah. It was the bank.
yeah.
It was the banked in 3, and then it was the late airballed 3 that landed in the hands of a Norfolk player that laid it up, and it's like it's 5 points, whatever. Anyway, maybe don't get in a position to where you're in that particular game, but we'll find out. So we'll see what this tournament ends up being. Upsets, and then hey, I think tonight's matchups are really cool. And I know you guys would have liked to see Utah play against UCF.
I'm glad Iowa State's still here. This is
I'm not.
how
I'm not.
I probably would have picked it. Had
I
picked
hate
it.
these 4 teams that are remaining. I wish we had like smaller schools playing tonight.
I care more for the NCAA.
no
but
option
yeah.
for that.
No, I mean it's that's what we're.
Honestly,
getting. It's
all
the
these
same
schools
thing.
are big too, by the way. And the
Yeah,
Big
they're all
12. It's
huge.
not like
Even
we're talking.
UCF
Yeah,
is
we're
like 60,000 people.
yeah,
that
we're
go
like
there.
we're not talking about
Yeah, but if
small
we just
schools.
say, I know we
smallest
got
school in the Big 12.
I know we got good games tonight, but imagine if we had Colorado, Arizona State tomorrow or tonight. God, that'd be amazing, right?
They're a Power
Oh,
5 team.
what a
Yeah, those are
great
the guys
story.
we don't want in the NCAA
Oh, my
tournament.
God.
correct.
Those are the
Great
guys
story.
you're making our point. We
You're
don't
making
want
our
those
point.
guys
I'm
in
making
the
the point.
NCAA
I'm making the
tournament.
point about Cinderellas of this tournament.
No, it's different.
That's no such
we
thing.
Yes,
don't
because
yeah.
it's taken away
We
from the
don't.
good
Yeah.
games.
We're the same
Yeah,
page,
yeah.
Mick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you're
we
both
understand.
stupid as hell.
We know
Oh
ball.
boy, yeah, we're
Yes.
this majority doesn't want this
Yeah,
thing
two
expanded.
versus
Yeah,
one.
Yeah,
that's
we love.
fine.
That's why we
Well,
love
Michael and I
March.
understand the difference between the first 2 rounds and the rest
That's
of the
an
tournament.
80s. Those are 80s and aughts babies deals. If you're 90s baby and 70s babies, you're kind
Yeah,
of more.
Well, didn't you say
we're
it was a
pretty
70s
cool.
baby?
Yeah.
More zone next.
Damn it.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, Mick Schaefer, presented by Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk. The Royals Baseball Classic continues tonight at 7 o'clock. Team USA against Canada. Italy in action tomorrow against Puerto Rico at 2 o'clock.
Lugo, right?
I
Lugo's
don't-
pitching quarterfinal, I thought I heard.
Is he? That would be awesome because I know Vinny asked that a couple nights ago if Lugo was pitching against Team Italy in that matchup. That'd be cool if he was. I haven't seen it. Oh, yep, it is.
You can't swing a dead cat at that World Baseball Classic and not hit a current or former Royal.
Yep, that's right.
Why would you swing a dead cat?
Well, what
To
are
try
you,
to see
not
if
gonna,
there- how many Royals
Not going
are.
to hold it.
Yeah.
How you sick of
Holding
You're
it's
gonna hold
weird.
a dead cat?
Well, how many lives did it have?
But,
9.
He used them all.
9.
Used them all.
It had half of Auburn lives this year. In
Well, it is
men's
a cat.
basketball.
I mean, they're tigers. So they are a cat.
Wait, I thought they were War Eagle. No?
I'm not sure what they are. Who knows? They're
Wait,
confused
yeah,
as
you're
well.
right.
They're
How is
confused.
in Alabama? All of Alabama, they're
It's
tied in an
All
elephant.
states. Arizona, bear down. Wait, what? Bear down.
Do they get confused with
Bobcats?
Cincinnati? What if Cincinnati's like
Well,
Tiger
bear
up?
cat. Tiger up.
Dog them. Let's go, man.
By
Sick
the
'em.
way, brief aside, Texas Tech again copied Oklahoma State.
Really?
They're doing all the who's the Red Raider mascot? What's his name?
Pistol
Doing
Pete?
Yeah, another copycat. Probably. They're doing all these logos now, official school logos of that guy in whatever sport he's doing. Pistol Pete's been doing that for years, for decades.
You know what's
They've
cool?
Had those logos.
Pistol Pete. So OSU, we were down there, obviously doing the stage stuff for P&L, Big 12. The mascot, Pistol Pete, because he has a thick old mustache, came up to me and was like, "Dude, love your stash."
You know what? Respecting the game there.
Game knows game.
Yeah, and he has a real body like yours too.
What do you mean?
He's just got a head.
Just got a head.
It's a
Well,
human
it's
body.
like K-State, though.
It is.
Yeah.
But
K-State's
those are
is scarier.
Those are like anomalies. Usually it's a full furry costume, which I know you know a lot about too.
Full furry.
I will say the BYU one, Cosmo, scares me because it's like
He's ripped.
well, it's a cougar with like human lips.
There's a final in the Conference USA semifinal. Unfortunately, Louisiana Tech knocked off Missouri State 69-66.
That was semifinal?
Yes, semifinal to go to the final. Missouri State beat Liberty, was the number
was the
one
number
seed.
one, yeah.
Yep, they knocked
Konzo,
off Liberty.
right?
Konzo and Missouri
Back
State.
there.
Yep, they're battling
So
with number
hot right
4,
now.
Louisiana Tech. They were down 3 with 8 seconds left. They had a 3 in the air, missed it, got the rebound, fouled, hit both free throws with 3 seconds left, and didn't do the make the first, miss the second. Played it out, fouled them. Louisiana Tech hits both free throws. Missouri State inbounds it, throws the full court pass, intercepted by Louisiana Tech. Clock runs out. They lose by 3.
Feels a very way for Konzo to lose a game.
But by the
Seen
way,
that happen before?
But by the way, how about this? So the second free throw goes in, right? Missouri State has no timeouts to set up the play. They have 4 guys down on one side of the court. The guy who's supposed to be throwing the ball in goes down on a knee and starts retying his shoe. And starts, hold on, retying his shoe. They're setting up the play. They don't have a timeout.
They let him do it?
The referee walks over to him and he's like, sorry, and acts like he's going really fast. It was like 15, 20 seconds. 15, 20.
That long?
I'm watching it, I'm going,
No
they're just
way.
letting him tie his shoe, which, I mean, I guess, but like, what a great heads-up play. And I'm sorry, but that's coached because the coaches were putting everybody in position while he was down on a knee, tying it, quote-unquote, tying his shoe.
Yeah.
They didn't have a timeout. Didn't help because they threw the ball to the other
Watched
team.
a high school game the other night, and team was having to just inbound the ball. Basically, you're up 3, just a few seconds left. You're going to get fouled, but you got to get it in.
Yeah.
And they ran the 5 on the baseline
Yeah.
like a football play. I would run that, I think, about every time.
Yeah, it's
it's
fun.
so hard to guard.
And
Nobody
it's so
preps
fun, too.
for it. Yeah, it's so
It's
fun.
so fun
Like, what
to do
route
that.
is he going to run?
I don't
Have them
know,
all
man.
run wheel routes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so great when, like, before the ref gives them the ball, they got their finger in their palm and they're pointing out, like, you go there. You be working. All right, you get open. You get open. We got time to run
You
wasp.
try and draw him offside. You try and get him into
Yeah.
the base. Like, hut. You try and really just get him offsides.
You guys old enough?
This is
You are.
BS. This never works, guys.
You're a asterisk 70s baby here. Remember the barking dog play? It went viral in the
my
90s.
God,
when
yes,
that thing went
dude.
viral.
Was it like Air Bud? Is that where it was from originally?
No, it was a high
It
school
It was a
kid.
human kid.
No, I know, but wasn't it from a movie originally?
No, it was like they're inbounding it. And it was
Ran to the side.
at the end, and he just gets out on all fours,
The short corner.
just barking, and everybody turns and looks.
Inbound
Guy
layup.
wide open in the basket.
And the dude jumps up. They're all celebrating everything. That's just smart. See, you go down and tie your shoe while the coaches are setting up the guys on the other.
That's our baseball talk. Is that Bush League right there? Is that Bush?
I think it's smart.
That's smart.
I think it's smart.
That's cool.
Here's Bobby Witt. Yesterday, MLB Network interviewed old Robert Witt about Team USA getting ready for Canada tonight. And, of course, they got to talk about Vinny's home run. But here's that quick little short conversation about Team USA making it.
Bobby, congratulations. Quarterfinal Friday against Canada. Most important question, what's been the conversation with Vinny Pasquantino since Italy's win yesterday?
Yeah, we've had a couple texts back and forth. Probably going to get him a nice gift. No, but, it was a great game for him. It was awesome to see him do that on the big stage. Knew what he was capable of doing, and so it was a lot of fun to watch.
Take us through the emotions of the last 48 hours. How have you managed all of it?
Yeah, it just comes down to controlling what you can't control. We couldn't control any of the outcomes last night. Could have controlled the game before, whatever, but we're just out there waiting to see, and now we got a shot, so now we're going to got to go at it one day at a time and enjoy every day.
We're used to those Bobby interviews.
Yeah, we're used to them.
The Witz-Carlton is now like my new favorite thing.
It's awesome. The
follow.
best buddy cop show out there right now. Is
so great, dude. Vinny was making his coffee, but his coffee comes with eggs, and so he's wearing overalls, so he grabs an egg out of his overall and breaks it into his coffee cup, and then smashes the egg and then throws it in there as well, and then takes a fake drink, I'm assuming. But the list of chores, dude. Did you guys see the list of chores?
No.
Here's the list of chores. Take out trash, Bob. Empty the dishwasher, Bob. Vacuum, Bob. Fold clothes, Bob. PlayStation, Vinny. And you know what? After the 3 home run night, that's how the chore should be.
They got the cups, their mugs, one V for Vinny, one B for Bob. It's so cool that this
Who's
is
a
now
good cup? Who's bad cup though?
This
There
is
you go. So there's their mugs with the B and the V. And then the chores that they have to do.
Vinny's got the charm, so I think he'd be a good cop.
Yes.
But this has gone mainstream, I feel like, in the MLB world, to where you would expect these from 2 Yankees or 2 Red Sox players or something like that.
Yeah.
But now, I feel like everybody knew about Bobby Witt a little bit later than they should have. But now people know about Pasquantino.
Yep.
And if not for great play, which we saw the other night, but for personality and charm and wit and humor and all that stuff.
I think
wit.
I think the Royals.
One T.
I think this is sort of creating kind of an outside of Kansas City casual fans saying, "I like the Royals. I know the Royals. Yeah, that's cool." I also think what it's creating is if Vinny makes the All-Star game this year, he'll be one of the guys they mic up for an inning.
Oh yeah,
they will, because they always mic up one guy every inning, right? They've done pitchers, left fielders, second baseman.
They do infield guys.
They've done a third baseman before.
Good.
I think they did a shortstop as well. But they probably done a first baseman. But
Did they mic up?
They do on Sunday Night Baseball too, don't they? Sometimes.
Freddie Freeman. Yeah, they mic'd up Freeman. They mic'd up Clayton last year. Kershaw with all right, guys, I'm going to bring the heat, and it was like 84. He's like, I got him, guys. I got him. But
that was so good,
dude. Vinny's, if he makes the All-Star game, he's going to be mic'd up.
By the way, how bad is the decision for the AL manager last year to go to Jose Aranda instead of Bobby Witt Jr. in the home run tiebreaker?
Oh, yeah.
Looks a little even worse now.
Worse than their idea. They're getting a glass field to play on.
That's going to be rough rounding the base.
Be really tough.
Those hot shots to third, dude. It just skips right off the glass.
Just got faster.
My God. That thing was exit velocity of 110. When it hit the glass, it went 117.
Yeah, but they'll put green and brown on there like you're actually playing on a real field. Okay,
as opposed to the gray matrix looking thing like you're playing in a video game. Like you're playing. Who said that they're playing on a green screen? Was that you, Sterling?
Oh yeah.
It looks like they're playing on a green screen, which it does when you're watching on TV.
Jumbotron. It's a jumbotron on the floor.
You put ice in the outfield, and they have to play on skates.
It's like those Japanese game shows where you have to climb up the ice, the steps and everything. They get all the way on top to the 30th one, and they slip and they go all the way down. There's no stopping.
Doesn't Tolbert already play outfield in skates? I thought Tyler Tolbert already did that.
Oh, maybe.
Why did he catch a stray? I don't think there's any reason for him to catch a stray. Fine player, fine base stealer. Don't put him in the outfield.
Is he a Royal still?
Yeah. He's. I think he's still with the big league camp. I mean, they don't have many guys. The option down to they optioned what Kuderna. I think already to the smaller. Real quick, let's play this Isaiah Pacheco. Then we'll break. Sorry, Isaiah Pacheco is talking about his conversation with Dan Campbell, and then we'll break.
Oh man, our first conversation, I was screaming on the phone. Oh, let's go! go. Put me in. He's like, oh, yeah, Pacheco, what number are you going? Are you going with 10? You're right. Let's go. I'm on my way. I'm coming home. So that was the whole adrenaline during the call, and I just couldn't thank them enough for just, thinking of me. There was a lot of teams. I had 8 opportunities to go to different teams. Kansas City was one of them, but once they made that move, I know that I had to look forward to opening up the doors to going somewhere else, and this was the first place I thought of. My father's a Leo. He's a Lion. So we're going far, baby.
There it is. That's the connection. His father was not a
I'm
chief.
happy for him. That was
I too. Like, he's a good
And by the way,
personality.
did the Lions move to Jersey?
They did. He's from New Jersey, so he's coming home there. But also, I had an opportunity to sign with the Chiefs, but once they made that move, so apparently the offer was there beforehand.
And
I
it
don't know.
sounds like that means he forgets that Jameer Gibbs is the running back with the Lions.
No. Also, the Lions offensive linemen are like, son of a, speaking of ice, can I get some on the back?
Now,
All right, wrapping up this Friday edition of the show. Mick Schaefer, presented by Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk. Big 12 championship tonight out at T-Mobile. Miller Lite Fan Fest going on tonight as well at the Power and Light District. A lot of fun there. Are you working tonight or this weekend, Sterling? Or is
Saturday.
Yeah, buddy.
Championship game, baby.
Yeah, buddy.
Who's going to be there?
Yeah.
Who are the pep bands going to be there?
I hope Iowa State and Kansas.
Dude, that'd be so amazing.
Because it'd be more fun for me. If it's Houston and Arizona, it would be a letdown.
You know what? Yeah. I'm going to go opposite theory here. I'm going to pick Houston and Arizona and hope I'm wrong. And if I'm right, I was so smart. So,
well, you're
Arizona
picking the favorites.
What? No way.
Nobody has looked better in the 3 games total they played than Iowa State and Arizona.
Dominant. Yeah.
So that's a tough one.
Yeah.
But I will go. I think it's going to be Arizona, Kansas.
Arizona, Kansas? What do you got,
like
Sterling?
KU kind of snapping out of it tonight.
I think Iowa State and Kansas.
Let's do it.
I
Michael?
think the 2 quote-unquote home teams.
I think
Nothing surprised you. Does any matchup surprise you?
Nope. Not with
Houston, Arizona obviously doesn't. Houston, Iowa State. Yeah,
Iowa
nothing.
State, Houston.
Iowa State, Houston? Okay. It's the KU coming through there. Big 12 Championship Week presented by Bobside Auto Group and Hollywood Casino. We shall see. Hopefully it is a fun night tonight. Florida is all over Kentucky in the SEC tournament and that quarterfinal round there. So we'll see what happens in all of those. But I will talk to you guys on Sunday night for the Selection Sunday show right here on Sports Radio 810. And we'll see Missouri in, Sterling?
Yes, and I will be
what seed?
sweating 11 at last 4 in.
I think 11.
I think they're